it time?
It is time for us to do what we have been doing, and that time is every day.
We'll know in a very short period of time, but it looks like it could be something that will be not good. Believe me, not good.
I see issue with that. And again, hey.
You're not going to be able to insult your way to the presidency. That's not going to happen.
I don't know who created Pokemon Go, but I'm trying to figure out how we get them to have Pokemon go to the polls.
I'm Ted Cruz, and my pronoun is kiss my ass.
So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time in terms of what we need to do to lay these wires, what we need to do to create these jobs.
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to put him.
Not good. Believe me, not good.
Hello, dissidents. Welcome, one and all, to a special Tuesday morning Dew edition of the Dew Dissidents podcast. My name is Keaton Weiss. Russ is in China. He just put out a video on the Three Gorges project in China, so I urge you to go and check that out immediately following the conclusion of this program at Russ on the Road NYC. Thank you all very much for being here this morning. This is a 10 a.m. show. It's an early show. The reason for the early show is the same reason for my absence on Thursday, which is it is getting to be moving day for me. That's right. I'm moving. So this is be the last show in this room, although the next room is going to look pretty much just like this room. So I'm not going to get into any more details about the move in case our friends at Betar are watching this program. That's half a joke, half not a joke. In all seriousness, I do got three little guys I got to protect. So for privacy's sake, I'm not going to say any more than that I'm moving. And that's why we're here early today. And that's why I am off on Thursday. But we'll be back on Sunday with Jimmy Dore and then on Tuesday with Blakely. But today we got a couple of special guests with us. First, you know who he is, Kit Cabello from Heartlands Media, our resident Tuesday dissident for the month of April. Kit Cabello, thanks for being here.
Hey, man, as always, and good morning. I hope everyone is safe on the road, drinking your coffee, whiskey if you have to, and we're going to make sure that you enjoy your entire morning routine today with all the news and all the good stuff here. So glad to be your co-pilot, buddy. That's right. Thank you so much. Great to have you here again. We got 501 strong in the YouTube chat to start the show. 167 is gonna be a bit of a struggle getting a crowd in here today since it's a morning show. It's at an off time, so please do smash that like button. We need the algorithm boost today. Smash that like button like it's Jesus's face and you're in the IDF. There you go. That's what you gotta do. And not to mention, hey, if you want to see a good 6-6, it's gonna be a while before I'm back on New Distance. Come on, I mean, this is like because I can't be on next Tuesday's show. That's right. Do the headbanging, folks. I mean, come on. I got the long, luscious, beautiful hair. Come on, people. That's right. We can get there. We can get there. Yeah, Kid is off next Tuesday, so I got Blakely in next Tuesday, and then Kid will be back the Tuesday after, and then Russ is back after that. But of course, you'll be back from time to time. We always love having you on the show. Of course. We also love having our special guest number 2 will be with us for the next hour or so. He is running for Congress in New York's 15th district. He is currently petitioning for the independent ballot line after having secured his position on the Democratic primary ballot. You all know him, Jose Vega. Jose, what's up, man?
Hey, I'm glad I'm helping you with your move to Tel Aviv. It's great. It's awesome.
Exactly.
You know, the three of us actually, Kit has already got the private plane. So
perfect. Yep. I got it from my friend Jelaine. You know, she's over there at Club Fed. And was like, hey, Kit, Mazel tov, you can enjoy all the whole fleet of planes. I'm like, whoa, thanks.
Yeah, I was wondering how you got that house next to Quentin Tarantino. But...
Dude, I mean, come on, man. It's hey, listen, man.
So listen, I'm gonna have Aaron Aaron. I'm gonna have Aaron Moltov text you guys the spot on the runway. You're gonna roll the vans right up there, and then there's a conveyor belt that'll load the shit right onto the plane, and then we'll be out of here.
Great.
All right.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Just don't look inside that plane. Don't that's none of your concern. There's people are on need to know basis about that. Right. But yeah. So hey, Jose, what's going on? What do you got going on now? So you are a busy man. You've secured ballot access for the Democratic primary, which is in June. But now you're in the process of getting signatures to appear on the independent line for November.
Yeah, exactly. Basically, we are staying true to our promise, which was that if we were to run in the Democratic primary, that win or lose, no matter what happens, we don't abandon our independent principles, because at the end of the day, that is what we are. And because New York State allows you to run in what is called a fusion ballot, you can run as a Democrat or Republican, and win or lose, you are still allowed to have an independent ballot line. And that's where we are now, collecting the signatures for the independent ballot line. And it's triple the signature requirements in the same amount of time. It's a lot of work. It's also a lot of fun. So we are putting together a Saturday petitioning drive, which actually I probably should have put the link in the chat. Although if people go to votevega.nyc,
put it in the chat. I'll throw it up.
Yep. If you go to votevega.nyc, there's a button there that says Saturday Signature Drive. It is this Saturday, 10 a.m. If you want to find out where we're going to be, how we're going to do it, you have to sign up, and I will probably call you personally, or my campaign manager will call you personally to confirm the details as to where we'll be. And you can be anybody. Before it was very restrictive as to who could petition. You had to be a registered Democrat, and if you weren't a registered Democrat, it was completely insane. But now you can be anybody, including even if you're an out-of-state voter. You can come and help us. We basically want everybody to come out this Saturday. We want to do a big push. We need 3,500 valid signatures, and you always want to go triple that number, so we need 10,000. And let me just say, this is more important than the Democratic ballot petitioning.
Agreed.
The Democratic ballot.
I don't mean to cut you off, but what is the link for this page? Just so people know where to go.
Oh, well, this is Saturday Signature Drive, but people should just go to votevega.nyc. There's a
That's what I mean. Okay, got it. So I'll throw that up. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, votevega.nyc, and you can just hit the button that says Saturday Rally or Saturday Signature Drive, and you'll be able to sign up right there. And we really want people to come out with us, because this is more important than the Democratic ballot petitioning. The Democratic Party probably already has this rigged. I mean, that's why they're running Michael Blake, in my opinion, of course. I could never prove this, but the former vice chair of the DNC, whose fundraising is so bad for somebody who was a political insider, who raised $139,000 this quarter compared to our $65,000, which $40,000 of that money he raised was his own money.
Oh,
think about it, right? Candidates. If I was a millionaire, I have no limits. Everybody who's watching this right now, who is an American citizen, can contribute only up to $3,500. So if you have that, please feel free to donate it. So whatever you can donate, please donate. But think about it, right? If I'm a candidate and I have $1 bajillion, I don't have a limit to how much I can give my own campaign. But other people do have limits. So Michael Blake, who has all this money himself, is allowed to loan himself the money for his own campaign. So you think about the process of even just running for office, for federal office. If you are poor, okay, you are already handicapped. It incentivizes people who already have so much capital that they can just do these things without ever taking any kind of financial risk. And that's sort of what we're trying to pioneer, is that we're trying to prove that anybody can do this and should be able to do this and succeed, not because of how much money they have, but because of the principles they stand on. I've already had rich people try to get me to drop out by telling me they can advance my career forward if I just let Michael Blake, go take on Richie Torres. And I've refused to bend the knee to these people who think that just because they have money, they can tell me what to do. I mean, it's pretty disgusting when they just tell me, Jose, what if your candle dims after this race and nobody cares about you anymore? And I think
it's reprehensible.
Reprehensible.
Reprehensible. that they would do that. Yeah,
I think it's absolutely disgusting that they would even say that, because again, if these billionaires didn't have their money, they really would be nobody. Like literally, if they didn't have money backing them up or anything of that nature, what do they have? Their personalities. A lot of these billionaires and millionaires are schizos. They're bipolar. They're sick people. So damn. I mean,
sick, horrible people.
It's like these people. They told me, Jose, the donor class doesn't want to invest in your race because they're afraid that, you and Michael Blake being in there are going to, split the vote. So they don't want to invest in a losing race. I say, I've made it this far without the so-called donor class. So, why would I want you to invest?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, to that point, we're going to get into this in a couple minutes, but, there's a three-way race in Michigan right now where the AIPAC-funded candidate is polling last. So you don't hear calls for her to drop out. Right. Because, hey, you're splitting the vote up here, So yeah, it's what you can expect from the Democratic Party, which is of course why it was very important that you had a two-pronged strategy, which I think is great. Vote Vega.nyc, you'll get the location. So, between planning my mother's memorial and doing the show by myself and now doing this move, it has been an absolutely insanely busy month for me. I wish I could be there this Saturday to help with this. If you need me beyond that, like if you still need signatures, a few weeks out or a couple weeks out, I'll see what I can do about getting down there. Because I remember last time I did come down there, and this shows, it's a scary thing, but I guess it's also a sign of progress that. Remember last time we did this, we just announced, hey, meet us outside the courthouse at a certain time. Now we can't say that anymore because times have changed. Now you have to be more concerned. Like, you got to be concerned about fucking lunatics coming out, and tracking you down. It's really an indictment of our politics and our society in general that you have to have those things in mind, but you do have to keep those concerns in mind because obviously the safety of everyone involved is paramount. So yeah, now you got to sign up and find out where to meet and when. But that's 10 a.m. April 25th, 2026 at votevega.nyc. And then you could just click sign up for Saturday.
Yes, that's right. You click sign up for Saturday and it just scrolls you right down to the form where you fill that out. Make sure you put your phone number in there because I will be calling you, or my campaign manager will be calling you. Hopefully we won't be going past next week. We actually estimate that we might be done even before next Saturday, as in so before 11 days from now or 12 days from now. That's what we hope to happen. Of course, things can always go awry, but even then, we've been looking at places to do a new town hall, because the boxing gym where we had the one with Tony Aguilar and Josephine Gilboa was shut down. Immediately after we had that event there with the Bronx's Gaza West. Thankfully, they found a new place now, but, we think there was some malicious stuff. But we've been, maybe even talking about doing the documentary screening at a certain place, come in, do a Q&A. So there's a lot that could be done. So, and that's another reason why people should sign up anyway, because you do get access to our newsletter too. So,
Exactly. So votevega.nyc. Yep. All right, let's get into some stuff. I've got a couple segments, Jose, that I want you to sit in on today because they have to do with this Democratic Party that you are running half inside and half outside, which is a good call. But Michigan had their Democratic Party convention this week, and here is AIPAC darling Haley Stevens. She's a member of Congress now. She has AIPAC's endorsement, and here she is coming out to some pretty loud and merciless boos. This is not exactly a warm welcome for AIPAC here. That is beautiful.
That's weak. She's done.
Democrats, I'm standing up here with my friends from Unite Here, who have endorsed my campaign.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. if I can add just my 2 cents here, because first of all, the very fact that you're walking into a booing crowd should be the sign of, okay, hey, you need to get out of here. You're in a hostile crowd. You're not going to win anyone over. And if we all remember what happened here in Chicago with the Palestinian movement and the speakers who were going to endorse Kamala and were kicked out, and then you had the liberals making fun of the dead children's names as they were leaving the United Center in Chicago, it's very clear Democrats haven't learned their lesson. So, I mean, we'll see how the midterms play out, but it's abundantly clear that the voting base that the Democrats want to court has drastically changed. And if you have AIPAC supporting you, you're a villain.
It's a liability.
It's
a liability in this race. No doubt about it. And it's making this race very difficult, both in a primary and then could be in the general election too, because Michigan was really ground zero for the boycott Biden and, never Kamala, movement. And, Trump actually won Dearborn, Michigan, actually beat Kamala in Dearborn, Michigan because of the Jill Stein vote. So Michigan is a very complicated state, and that's why Democrats are having some big headaches here over this primary. How a must-win Michigan Senate race turned messy for Democrats. Michigan's open Senate seat is now emerging as a GOP hedge against a potential takeover for Democrats who need to net 4 seats to flip the chamber. Losing Michigan would make the Democrats' task almost impossible. A major reason why a leading Republican outside group just announced plans to pour $45 million into the state, more than any other pickup opportunity to boost former Representative Mike Rogers, the likely GOP nominee. Republicans are hoping that the ultimate Democratic nominee emerging from the August 4th primary emerges battered and cash-strapped, giving Rogers a leg up. It's kind of incredible that the Democratic incumbent, I forget his name, retired going into a must-win blue wave year. You would think he would just stay there to avoid a primary like this, but no such luck for the Democrats, I guess. If he wins this seat, if they are successful in trying to buy this seat, then there is no path at all for Democrats to take control of the U.S. Senate, said State Senator Mallory McMorrow, one of the 3 Democrats vying for the party's nomination. Wow. I actually don't think that's true, that there's no path at all. I think the path narrows a lot if they lose Michigan, but there were just polls out today saying they're winning in Iowa. So, they could afford to do it. It makes it much more difficult. I don't say it closes the possibility altogether, but yeah, I mean, this is pretty much a must-win, as close to a must-win as you can come without being one. Yet Democrats have to resolve their own internal struggles first. Representative Haley Stevens, the one who just got booed, a 42-year-old who represents a district in the Detroit suburbs, is a favorite among many in the party establishment who see her as the most electable. Ha! The 39-year-old McMorrow is trying to brand herself as a candidate who can woo both traditional Democrats and progressives hungry for a shakeup of their party's leadership. El Sayed, a former public health official, Dr. Abdul El Sayed, who wrote a book on Medicare for All, is pushing to the left on several key issues. The thorny questions facing Democratic voters: should they back a candidate certain to energize their progressive base, or should they fall in line behind the party establishment and pick someone who might better woo swing voters? Quote, anyone committed to shutting down Trump and the MAGA movement, said Jeff Albright, an undecided Democratic voter in the Detroit suburb of Canton, when asked about his most important issue. That's number 1. Now, Haley Stevens, $9 million from AIPAC and pro-Israel donors.
Wow.
So that is a whole lot of Israel money for Haley Stevens. AIPAC just posted a little commercial recording that she did just in March of 2026. So this is not ancient history. She has their endorsement this cycle. She is proudly pro-Israel. And once again, here's the reception. So we saw the intro. Let's see a little more of this, because this is just it's too good to watch once.
This is Academy Award.
Michigan Democrats
walking out.
Standing up here with my friends from Unite Here, who have been
Loud boo coming up.
our campaign for United States Senate, the working people of Michigan.
Ouch.
Look, I'm going to tell you all, I'm a daughter of Michigan. I was the daughter of small business owners. My dad was
It keeps going.
born right here in the beautiful city of Detroit.
That is relentless.
And my life's work by putting up my hand for Michigan in tough moments. That is exactly what I did for Michigan when I served as Chief of Staff on the U.S. Auto Rescue alongside the great men and women of the UAW. We saved.
I'm sorry. No, that's like you're seeing a horrifying car accident happen in real time, and no one can put a pause to it. But I'm laughing at the people behind her. They're like, "Oh wow, we showed up with this loser."
Amazing. Well, it was a different response for Abdul Al Sayed. He clearly had the room. Here is his ovation when he enters. His crowd. Standing ovation. Standing ovation. Here is a little bit of his speech.
About who we are as a country. Who are we and what do we believe? We are at a crossroads in this country. We cannot continue to make peace with a system that tells us that our best use of our tax dollars is to send money elsewhere in the form of bombs and tanks. We've got to decide that so long as we are willing to accommodate the likes of an AIPAC in our politics, do not be surprised when they take us to foreign wars we have no business fighting in. And I say that because I love my Jewish sisters and brothers, and because I love my Palestinian sisters and brothers. And the only reason you stand up and fight against genocide is because you love people. And we all got to get right about the fact that when we love people, we have to understand that human rights are universal.
Yep. So that definitely went over well. But, you know, before you get too in love with this guy, and look, don't get me wrong, if you're in Michigan and you're registered in the party, I think it's obviously a no-brainer. But here he is having his Bernie moment. Here he is apologizing for the people who booed Haley Stevens, the AIPAC
you
pig.
idiot.
He comes out here and says, so grateful for all the support at the Michigan Democratic Party convention, and a reminder to all of us, our movement is led by what we hope for, not by what we oppose. So watch this.
Goodness, I am still buzzing off of yesterday's MDP convention. To all of you who came and walked the convention floor with us, stood at our table, volunteered for this campaign up until now, thank you so much for helping build what this movement has become. I am so grateful for you. And that floor reception, honestly, not in my wildest dreams could I have imagined being received with a standing ovation by 7,500 of you because of our message to get money out of politics, put money back in pockets, pass Medicare for all, abolish ICE, and stand up to a regime that has us sending money abroad in the form of bombs and tanks rather than investing it here at home. I am just so grateful.
Now,
I also want to address something that
problem?
happened just after I spoke. One of my opponents came out onto the stage and was booed. That's unkind and unnecessary.
Idiot.
Our campaign was not a part of that. And I would not condone that kind of behavior.
Oh, you don't condone that part of behavior. She condones the mass murder of innocent men, women, and children. So you don't condone your own supporters booing her? What is it with progressive Democrats have this like fetish for apologizing for their supporters? You remember Bernie did this all throughout 2016, where don't say anything negative about Hillary Clinton. It's a positive campaign. And constantly in 2020, my friend Joe, my friend Joe, my friend Joe.
Exactly.
Jose, I want to toss to you because you're not really one to tone police yourself. And you're not exactly one to tone police others. What is your take on this guy? Kills it. He crushes it. His opponent gets almost booed off the stage. I mean, the only reason she didn't run off the stage is probably because she had the endorsers on there with her. And yet here he is coming out saying, hey, we're not a part of that. We don't appreciate that. Why the fuck not?
Yeah, well, that's a problem because you're supposed to let the tension be there. You're supposed to let the tension exist. You just don't say, even if you think that that was wrong and you don't think that mob mentality is the right way to go, you don't say anything because that's happening at a convention with Democrat voters. And they are saying something very clear. We don't want more AIPAC tools. We don't want more people who believe in slaughtering children to be representing us, right? That's what they were saying in those boos. That's what that was about. You know,
Exactly.
this is an open and clear rejection of the same old slop that the party has been feeding them. So for, you know, Abdul to come out that way and just denounce that, I think was wrong. You know, you can, you know, say a few things like, yeah, you know, I think that, you know, my opponent should not be taking all this AIPAC money, and you can, or you don't even say that. You know, the way you address that is just by doubling down and saying, I appreciate all the support we had yesterday.
Exactly. That's a great point. It's a convention. It's a convention. Yeah.
I'll go ahead and say this. Now, look, I don't have the patience or maturity for office, but if somehow it was a gun held to my head, I choose to run, and I have a whole thunderous crowd, I'm gonna be like, yeah, my supporters are mad dog killer types. Okay, we roll in there, we go in deep, and we knock people out. Yeah, not only do you supposed to have the tension, but you'll be like, oh, come on, guys, be nice, be polite. If my supporters are booing the crap out of my opponent and it's deafening and loud, I'm going to be like, yeah, we did it, people. That is absolute weakness on his part. He had my respect, and then he lost it when he said, I'm sorry, that wasn't nice. No, it's politics. It's cutthroat. You got to be like Julius Caesar and his supporters against that Pompeian scum Pompey and the old Senate. That's how you got to handle things. You got to be aggressive. You got to show strength. This is why the Democrats keep losing. Again, and this is another reason why I didn't cover the Illinois Democrat primary, because I just knew that there was going to be that weak sauce stuff, and I was proven correct. Because that is not how you run a campaign, and that demoralizes your supporters.
It does. It demoralizes the supporters. It makes them feel like they gotta walk on eggshells around you and around the campaign. Nobody threw anything at her. No one attacked. You know, it's all expression. And the whole point of a convention, and that's a good point that you made, Jose. It's a convention. The point of the convention is to get the feedback from the attendees. Like the audience is very much an active part of the convention. It's not like a spectator thing where they're watching a speech. They're supposed to show who they like and who they don't like. That's the whole point of a convention.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a debate. It's not a town hall forum where everyone's supposed to, you know, there's an expectation of decorum where you're supposed to hear what the candidate. No, you're right. This is where people are going to decide and show who they support and who they don't. Right. And like this is just how they notoriously are. I mean, DNC conventions, RNC conventions always encourage the crowd to cheer as loud as possible.
And boo when they feel they want to. Right.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. So that's the whole point.
It's that. Exactly. That is the whole point. You know, so then you got to walk in there knowing that's what the point is. So
exactly. All right, so we're talking about the Michigan Convention. I might clip this separately. We talked a little bit about Syed, Abdul El Sayed, the progressive, and Haley Stevens, the AIPAC stooge. But now let's look at this thing here, whatever this is. Mallory McMorrow. She is splitting the difference here. Here is her entrance. So this is the third option, right? This is the Liz Warren option. I think Elizabeth Warren endorsed her, actually. Here she is making her grand entrance here. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Too loud. Jesus Christ. Holy shit. Sorry about that. Oh my God. Wow. Wow. That breaks the crazy meter right there. Look at that. Wow. Wow. So where does Mallory McMorrow stand on AIPAC? Here she is. When I look at my daughter and I look at the photos and videos we see coming out of Gaza, I'm gutted. The humanitarian crisis is indefensible. So let's take a look at her talking about Gaza.
To start with the crisis in Gaza. And I feel like I have to start there because I look at my daughter and I can't look at the photos and the videos of what we're seeing come out of Gaza and not just be absolutely heartbroken. It is indefensible what is happening. And we've gotten to a point where Donald Trump has said this is starvation. Benjamin Netanyahu is telling us it's not starvation. And we cannot let this man tell us that what we are seeing with our own eyes is not what is actually happening. So here's what I believe we need to do to get out of this crisis. Number one, the first primary thing that has to be done immediately is humanitarian aid and food has to get into Gaza.
Notice she calls it a crisis.
And
she
we
doesn't
have
call
to
it a
hold Netanyahu
genocide.
accountable for making sure that that food and that aid gets to the families who need it desperately. Number two, the United States has to stop providing Netanyahu with offensive weapons that do nothing but continue to extend this war. Number three, Hamas has to release all of the hostages.
Okay, so she makes the offensive weapons, which means she's for Iron
And
Dome.
disarm. And that leads to number four, which is we have to get to a permanent ceasefire.
All right, very good. That's very, 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 very good thinking there. So this is kind of interesting here. This made the rounds quite a bit. In a leaked donor call, a member of Mallory McMorrow's campaign team reassures a pro-Israel voter that he's read McMorrow's private AIPAC position paper and says it's outstanding and she gets it as someone who supports Israel. So she's, of course, trying to split the difference here. She's, in the sort of Elizabeth Warren sort of rad lib kind of center-left lane. But here is a leaked call with a pro-Israel donor who wants some assurances that she's still in the tent.
Yes, that's absolutely a reality. What I will say is that I think that Mallory is where most of the electorate is. I think she's been really thoughtful on the issue, and I think we've been in conversation with anyone who wants to talk about this, and I think that on the whole, most people have found that Mallory, even if they disagree with Mallory, they think she has been very thoughtful on the issue, and she's accessible and honest and transparent. So I think that our hope is that AIPAC doesn't get involved in the race, but they will wait and see. Is she willing?
So they're hoping AIPAC doesn't get involved in the race. AIPAC is involved in the race. They're donating to the Haley Stevens, the one who got booed.
Yeah.
They think AIPAC's presence is a liability because she knows that support for Israel is now a liability in the primary. But as you can see here, behind closed doors or on a closed phone line, so to speak, they are little less anti-Israel than they sound in public.
To talk to them because they absolutely will get involved. We have been talking to every organization that wants to talk about this issue, and that's sort of our policy. So we've had conversations with them. We've, have had conversations with all sorts of groups.
I can tell you that I've talked with them directly because I know leadership locally and nationally. And they know very clearly that I'm supporting Mallory and why I'm supporting her. And I have read her AIPAC position paper. It's outstanding. I don't know if it's public or not. Mallory will benefit, I believe, because Abdul's going to hit Haley very hard over it. And
so the translation there is off. What he says is Abdul is going to hit Haley very hard over it, meaning we have an anti-Israel candidate in the race who's going to go after the most pro-Israel candidate in the race. It's going to keep the heat off of us. That's what he's saying there.
So there might be that spend, but Abdul's going to provide some cover on that.
So the fact that you have the AIPAC-funded woman in the race provides some cover on that because her wishy-washiness on the issue is not going to be what Abdul Sayed contrasts himself to. He's going to contrast himself to Haley Stevens.
But I'll tell you that I was concerned with the Bernie vote and some of the public comments that were made, especially like the Punch Bowl article this morning. But Mallory gets it. She understands it. And this is somebody who supports Israel and understands reality on the ground in Gaza. I'm very comfortable with where she's at.
Okay, she supports Israel. She's aware of the reality on the ground in Gaza, and so I'm comfortable where she's at. So she's a liberal Zionist, basically. Oh, isn't it sad? Isn't it sad that they're starving? Let's get them some food, right? But there they are. There they are, making guarantees behind the scenes. Hey, don't worry, you got nothing to worry about here. But obviously, the voters are more worried about it than anybody. Here's the breakdown of a recent poll out of Michigan and voters' attitudes towards Israel.
At least according to the cash prediction markets, but below 50%. And Al-Sayed really closing over the last month as this Iran war has worn on.
As we said, this is a Democratic primary. How might this be emblematic of Democratic positions on Israel writ large?
Okay. So, yep. Yeah. Is that say Kalshi? The betting market?
Those are the betting market odds. So those aren't poll numbers. Those are the betting market odds. Yeah.
These are betting market. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Well,
Okay,
people are
right.
gambling. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Hey, democracy at its finest. Even the Romans would blush at how
It's
authentic
very
that stuff is.
deceptive to put up market odds because this guy usually analyzes poll numbers. So these are not poll numbers. It's not that McMorrow's 10 points ahead of Al Sayed. It's that her betting odds are 10 points higher than his. And I think there's a reason for that, which we'll get into in a moment.
So you see Al Sayed going up, and there's all this discussion. Oh,
They're
there's
about
this
tied in the
divide
polls
on
now.
Israel
They're
within
very
the
close in the
Democratic
polls.
Party.
Al Sayed and
I'd make the
McMorrow.
argument there was a divide 4 years ago. I'm not quite sure there's a divide anymore because just take a look here. Okay, Democrats' net favorability of Israel. Not liberal, those who are moderate conservative versus those who are liberal. You go back to 2022, those who are not liberal, slightly more likely to
Look
hold
at
a
that.
net
That's
favorable
insane.
view of Israel than not. Liberals were against Israel by that point, minus 26 points. Come over to this side of the screen. That divide is simply put gone.
Not liberal. So moderate Democrats are 55 points against Israel. Liberal or progressive Democrats 74 points against
exactly
Israel. It's just it's a complete wash for Israel, which is why the polls are as close as they are.
I mean, the videos speak for themselves. Everything that we've seen since 2023, women and children, men being murdered, blown up, Gaza turned to a moonscape, and consistent ongoing war. I mean, Israel is that friend who gaslights you, or is that toxic person in your life who says, if you don't do this for me, you'll lose me. If you don't do this for me, I'll do this, X, Y, and Z. It's abundantly clear that our greatest ally has always been our greatest enemy at this point. I mean, I'm sorry, but we got to rip this Band-Aid off. And you know what? I take back that I'm sorry. No, we have a problem here because our money's going for these wars, yet we have no money to take care of ourselves or our people.
Yeah.
And it's very clear our politics is showing. I mean, like now you have the next generation seeing what happens to the boomers, Xers, and us millennials. Gen Z and Gen Alpha are looking like, holy Christ, this cannot happen to us. And I will say that to Gen Z and Gen Alpha. Do not let what happened to the boomers, Xers, and millennials happen to you, because these politicians will lie to you. Don't let what happened to us happen to you.
Well, Jose, you're what are you? You're Gen Z, right? You're millennial Gen Z border, but
I'm a millennizier.
A millennizier.
Oh,
all right.
I was born in '98. So
all right. Well, what's the millennizier perspective on this race here?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I have high school interns who are 14 years old, and one of them signed up to volunteer for the campaign because she said she wanted to abolish the two-party system. And I was like, wait, I came to that conclusion when I was like 19, 20 years old, right? And when I was 14 years old, I don't know what I was doing. I think I was playing Skyrim again, or something like that, and,
right.
And so the fact that, and also I have like a 17-year-old who interns on the campaign, and she was going off on AOC. And more than I would, to some lady who, when we were knocking on doors, this lady was like, an AOC, she's a fucking fake person. And then she just goes harder on her. And then I'm like, hey, were you playing that up? She's like, no, AOC's this and offense center and that and whatever. And I was like, what the, like these kids are good.
Basically, the kids are telling you, step aside, old man. We got this.
Basically. I on the Michigan race, I think that what we're seeing there, and I'm sure what the DNC is paying very close attention to, and so is the RNC, this is a litmus test for the future of the country. You have three candidates. You have someone who's very clearly anti-Israel, no AIPAC money whatsoever, and is not trying to sit on the fence. You have Haley Stevens, who is the ultimate AIPAC, I'm unapologetically pro-Israel, but I also, I stand for Michigan. And then you have somebody who's trying to come off like, oh, I'm totally against the crisis that's happening in Gaza, right. Who's trying to appeal to the progressive, Right. So I guess what Dems are looking at is what is going to work here, what will be the outcome of this as well. And it reminds me a lot of my race here, because Michael Blake, who just recently said he's now against the anti-BDS laws, in January was trying to court for an endorsement from this big influential club in Riverdale called the Benjamin Franklin Club, which is run by a lot of Zionists, who in a leaked call, kind of similar to this McMorrow thing, was asked twice, do you support anti-BDS laws? And the first time he kind of like skirted and it was like, I kind of think Mamdani. Okay, but do you support anti-BDS laws? And then he goes, well, when I was in the assembly, of course I supported anti-BDS laws, and I support the Iron Dome because the Iron Dome is great for funding. Great for Israel because it has a right to defend itself. But then, just a few weeks ago, he's like, you know what, everyone? I'm anti-BDS laws now, and Israel can pay its own Iron Dome. It just basically riding the coattails of what is become popular now, right? So when AOC came out and said, you know what, I support, not funding the Iron Dome, but then you dig a little deeper and it turns out it just means we're not going to be giving Israel the money anymore because Israel can afford it, which is what Lindsey Graham and Netanyahu wanted for over a year. They said this in 2025. We have to get to a point where Israel can just afford to fund itself. Right. So, this isn't progressive. This is performative politics of what happens when the establishment is trying to walk in the path of people who have paid with reputational costs, sometimes with blood, sometimes with financial costs, people who have lost everything, to lay down a path, to get rid of foreign influence in our politics. Now the establishment just wants to come in and walk that path thinking that they can own it. And they come off as phony when they try to do it because they weren't involved in the fight. They didn't have a stake in the fight. They didn't pay a price. And that's why nobody trusts them when they say that they're, anti-genocide now or anti-Israel now, because it's political opportunism. So,
just look at their track record. Everyone now, we have the Library of Alexandria at our fingertips, our cell phones. So why not just research and find out where these politicians are? The internet doesn't forget, and there's stuff that's archived. All what people have to do is do your own research, do your own work, and of course, support independent media.
Yeah, it's funny. It is a litmus test for the country, not just the party, because Michigan is a swing state. It's a tough state, so you're going to get a sense of how much that progressive enthusiasm on the Al Sayed side actually carries, not just through a primary, but through a general. What I suspect is going to happen here, and don't shoot the messenger, I'm not saying I want this to happen, but I suspect Stevens is polling so badly that, don't forget, at the end of the day, what AIPAC wants is to stop the most anti-Israel candidate. So if Stevens can't win, I suspect she's going to drop out before the primary. I don't know if she'll endorse McMorrow, but I think a lot of her support will go to McMorrow, and McMorrow will probably win the primary. I think that's why the betting odds are a little higher for her than they are for El Sayed, unfortunately. And if that doesn't happen, if El Sayed wins the primary, don't forget, they're going to adopt this anti-El Sayed formation just like they adopted the anti-Mamdani formation in New York City, where you have some politicians will tacitly endorse him but not throw any weight behind him. Some politicians will refuse to endorse altogether, like Chuck Schumer. And in the case of Mamdani running in New York City, where Democrats have this massive registration advantage, and just being on the Democratic ballot line essentially guarantees you a victory for the New York mayor's race, you can overcome the lack of party support. But I think, unfortunately, that if El Sayed wins the nomination, the party will basically leave him high and dry, like many in the party left Mamdani high and dry.
Yep.
And Michigan is not New York City, where you have an 8-1 registration advantage over the GOP. Michigan, you need all the juice you can get to get over the line because it's kind of a swing state. And I think there's a chance that El Sayed loses in the general if he's the nominee, because he's not going to have that institutional weight behind him, because the Democrats are fucking scum. Look what they did to Zoran, right? They just kind of left him out there on his own, and he overcame that due to, one, he's a generational talent, but two, he's in a very, very liberal town. Michigan is a different situation. So I'm not optimistic about El Sayed becoming the senator. Sorry to put a wet towel on people who are in Michigan and who are really excited about him. And this is why I don't really involve myself or invest myself in Democratic Party politics, Because let's say El Sayed were doing, Jose, what you're doing, which is saying, hey, you know what? I'm securing my position on an independent ballot line. So if you fuck me, I'm staying in. That gives him tremendous leverage in the primary, but he's not doing that. He's not doing.
Well, I think I was just going to add in that, first of all, you're right that this is a litmus test for the entire country. I know Muslims in the Bronx who voted for Donald Trump because of his position on Gaza, which they thought was more progressive than what Kamala Harris was saying.
At the time it was.
At the time it was. And he was also making fun of Liz Cheney, saying there isn't a country in the Middle East she didn't want to bomb.
Right.
They really liked that stuff. So to me, it wasn't a surprise in Michigan that Trump won Michigan, because especially the more Muslim areas like Dearborn, because I said, well, yeah, that makes sense. Muslims they're going to vote for who's going to do better for them in Gaza, Palestine, and, the other Middle Eastern countries. But, Michael Blake should take this advice. This guy was the former vice chair of the DNC, and he also plays up the fact that he's an African American. Right now, the Congress, especially the Congressional Black Congress, is so captured by AIPAC. In fact, the executive director of the Congressional Black Caucus attacked me recently because I said that I would vote for Massey or Ro Khanna or Marjorie Taylor Greene as Speaker of the House. And so the fact that some bigwig at the DNC is trying to say I'm not a real Dem. Anyway, if he would just say, you know what, I fucked up because I'm largely responsible for the direction the Democratic Party is in right now because I was the vice chair of it. And now the entire Congress is captured and corrupted, and including the Democrats. And, I need to atone for that by calling it out. He would be a leading politician right now. I genuinely believe that. The reason he's not going to do that is because he's too much of a loyalist to the Democratic Party to ever think about embarrassing them. You watch that debate, he keeps trying to paint me as not a real Democrat because I wouldn't get behind AIPAC Shakur as Speaker of the House.
Right.
And oh, really? I'm not the real Democrat? Well, by your metric, neither are you. Nancy Pelosi endorsed Richie Torres. Hakeem Jeffries endorsed Richie Torres. Right. The Democratic Party has their pick. You're not it. Why are you trying to suck up to this party that has rejected you? That's why nobody cares that you're in the race. And that's why people really like our strategy of running as an independent immediately after the primary, because we're not beholden to the party. In fact, we have I can't give a lot of the sauce, but basically we've created a lot of factional fights in New York City, local Dem chapters that are struggling with this same issue that we just saw in the convention. We want somebody who's going to beat Richie Torres. And yes, Michael Blake is a flake. He's a pragmatist, but he has a better chance of beating Richie Torres. Whereas other people in these same Democratic Party clubs are saying, no, Jose represents the tension that we all feel. That the whole party is full of crap, and it may be irredeemable if we don't actually support people like Jose in the race. And as a result, you'll notice there's been a halting of certain endorsements for Blake and myself because people can't make up their minds as to who they want to support. And that's exactly productive. People think that's counterproductive. No, let people struggle with this tension in their mind. They have to fight it. It has to be a fight. Perfect. And that's the importance of us being on the ballot for both the Dem and the Independent, because people need to resolve the tension, and they're being confronted with it right now, which is also why people come out and support us on Saturday. Yeah.
I actually have a question. So, look, Illinois and New York pretty much are known for being extremely draconian towards independents and third parties. And I've interviewed you on my show, including Larry Sharp, who's running as a libertarian for the governor's seat for New York State. And I wish him all the best. But in regards for your independent run, I mean, has there been any kind of legal challenges towards your campaign as an independent? Because, what I found shocking was Cuomo running as an independent seemed to have a sugar-coated roadway and with no problems whatsoever, whereas I'm pretty sure you have the complete Uno reverse story. I mean, is everything has there been any kind of challenge towards your independent run at all?
Well, one of the things that I can say, because we have to be very careful with the things that we can and can't say. first of all, what your petitioning period is very expensive. Even if it's just for the Democratic ballot or the Republican ballot or the independent ballot, it's expensive. And that's, you know, we don't even pay a whole lot of people, if anybody, about to come out and petition. A vast majority of the people who come out to petition for us are volunteers. But there's just a lot of costs associated with it, now with an added cost of security. Cuomo was able to get on as an independent because he just had the money. He just spent a couple $100,000. It was like, yeah, give me an independent ballot line, you know, for the general election. And he wasn't even doing that thinking he was going to lose the primary. He just wanted an extra line. That's just what he did.
Right.
For us, it's the fact that we don't have that capital that Cuomo has, you know, that the billionaires do have. So the fact that we're doing this is kind of revolutionary because I'm not a millionaire. And like I said before, you know, candidates don't have limits to how much they can give their campaigns. Some other legal challenge. I mean, we know when we handed in our Democratic petitions, we know that Michael Blake's lawyer looked at our petitions to see if there was anything worth challenging. Nothing in there. Ours completely rock solid. Can't say the same thing for all of our opponents, and that's all I'll say. But, you know, ours were very, very good, and we worked really hard. Not because we were going for volume, we were going for quality. We were doing door to door, which is a very difficult thing to do when you're going up and down stairs. Not everybody's home and you're doing it every day, right? We don't have the money to just throw to some political firm, you know, just say, here, just get us these signatures, you know, get like 20,000. Right. Nobody's going to care to look at them. So I would just say just the fact that we're doing both, you know, is incredibly difficult. But here we are.
Yeah, but that's why, you know, you have this organization behind you. I mean, the LaRouche organization is a huge boon, and this is another thing that's unique about your candidacy is you're able to get these drives together because you have some organizational support, which is obviously massive. And so, yeah, once again, votevega.nyc to learn more about Jose's campaign. All right, before we let you go, Jose, I want to do one more quick one with you. This is sort of related. And then we'll take some super chats, and then we'll let Jose get on about his campaign here. So here's Cory Booker in Michigan. You know, Democrats spent a lot of time in Michigan, and here is Cory Booker with somewhat of a different message than Abdul El Sayed or even the dancing McMorrow or the BOOED lady. Here he is saying, "You may disagree with Kamala on 10% of her views, but how dare you not vote for her anyway, because now Donald Trump is president."
After our primaries and Hillary Clinton was our nominee, there was some people, not all people, not even most people, some people said, well, I don't like her.
Yeah.
I don't agree with everything she says.
Yeah, that's me.
I saw it with Kamala Harris.
That's me.
There were too many people that say, I don't agree with her on everything.
Yeah.
I mean, 90 out of 100, I agree with her, but those 10, I can't do it. Well, you may disagree with her on 10% of her views, but you let someone get in office who you disagree with on everything. You let somebody get in office who is locking up our children. You let somebody in office who's taking away our health care. You let somebody in office who's taking away workers' rights.
You guys are doing that.
You let somebody in office who got rid of the Department of Education.
You guys are doing that.
So
that's everything they were doing. That's everything they were doing.
The 10%.
10%.
Yeah, that's the 10% that's the 10% that they just couldn't get past. Professor Zenkis, if that 10% includes genocide, then he's a psychopath, and so is anyone who thinks this is a reasonable argument. Yeah, the 10% of her views in question. Here's one of these videos.
Would you do anything differently? For example, would you withhold some U.S. weapons shipments to Israel? That's what a lot of people on the progressive left want you to do.
Let me be very clear. I'm unequivocal and unwavering in my commitment to Israel's defense and its ability to defend itself. And that's not going to change.
That was really a pivotal moment. I mean, that was a moment where she lost so much support, particularly in a state like Michigan, because for Cory Booker to say, well, yeah, you're with her on 90% and you're making a big deal over 10%. Yeah, if that 10% is a Holocaust, then yeah, that's enough for most people of any conscience. Yes, but Trump is the same on Gaza too. If he was better, then it would have made sense. If anything, he is worse than Biden. That's true insofar as it goes. Yeah. But the test, I think, for a lot of people, certainly was the test for me, was not will Kamala be marginally better than Trump? I think when you look back at everything that's gone on with ICE and the slashing of the social safety net and the big beautiful bill, I think it's fair to say Kamala would have been a better president than Donald Trump. But that doesn't matter when you're pro-genocide. Like, if you're pro-genocide, then no other differences really make any or of any moral consequence. Like, this is like, I mean, this is like if someone primaried Hitler and said, well, you know, I mean, you know, it's like saying, well, vote for one of the other Nazis against Hitler because his tax policy is better. Yeah, he's still committing the Holocaust, but yay, come on. I mean, he's better on all these other things. Like, there's no moral difference there. The test is, are you better than your opponent in a way that really matters, in a way that's significant? In the Mamdani race, I thought he was better than Cuomo in ways that mattered. And so had I lived in New York, I'd have voted for him. When both candidates are pro-genocide, neither is better than the other in any way that matters, in any way that makes any difference. And by the way, Cory Booker declined to endorse Zohran Mamdani. Speaking of Mamdani. So for this guy to be like, hey, you know, I'm sick of these people who, after the primaries are over, they don't support someone who they agree with 90%. Well, Cory Booker, do you agree with Mamdani on 90% of things?
No,
probably not. He probably is more like 60% of things, since Booker is so bought and paid for, he's not even for like universal health care and shit like that. But you know why you didn't endorse Zohran Mamdani? I could tell you. It's one word. Israel. Yep. Israel. Don't forget. This is Cory Booker. Speaking of letting people in office, Cory Booker let a wanted ICC fugitive into his office. Anybody who wants to win elections should be able to condemn this. There he is posing for a photo with Yoav Gallant, who made news right after October 7th when he said we're fighting human animals. And that's Cory Booker posing for a nice chummy photo with him. That is part of the 10% that people took issue with. But of course, Cory Booker, just like Haley Stevens, supports Israel and, by extension, supports their mass murder campaign in Gaza. And now he's going to go and gaslight the stupid Democratic Party audience in that room by insisting that that should have been overlooked. And you said in your debate, Jose, with Michael Blake, that Kamala lost, because she deserved to lose. And I think the moment where her turnout plunged through the floor, it was going to be tough for her anyway, let's face it. Not a very talented politician. The Biden administration was a disaster. But this was really the moment, I think, where it collapsed for her right here.
Would you do anything differently? For example, would you withhold some U.S. weapons shipments to Israel? That's what a lot of people on the progressive left want you to do.
Let me be very clear. I'm unequivocal and unwavering in my commitment to Israel's defense and its ability to defend itself. And that's not going to change.
I think that's the point at which a lot of people realized there was no meaningful moral difference between the two. It's not that one is not better than the other. It's that there's no meaningful moral difference. So what do you say to that, Jose?
Well, first of all, you know, in that debate, I was accused of not loving black women because I wouldn't, you know, support Kamala.
Well, that's why I'm asking. Yeah. Because he said, you know, she didn't deserve to lose. We should support our black women. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm proud to say I voted for Mary Blythe, which is Morgan's mom. It's the sweetest person you'll ever meet in this world. So, you know, Morgan's a friend of Keaton and ours. But yes, that's who I voted for.
I support white women. Thank you very much. You should think about supporting our white women.
Out of context. That's not going to be clipped out of context. You know what? I stand by Keaton's comment.
But no, you know, first of all, that it would be funny if I win the primary. And it's like, well, am I going to support the Dem nominee? You know, if it's Kamala Harris again? Hell no.
Well, it's not going to be, but yeah.
She's going to lose New York quickly. No. You know, there was something that happened. There's a process that's going on in the country right now. And it started way before 2024, but it was building up in 2024. Now it's just fully broken the dam, which is, I think, terrible candidates like Kamala Harris and now Trump are showing something that there is no hope in either of these major parties to ever give you any real sort of pathway forward. And I think people are tired of voting for the lesser of two evils slop. And, you know, don't doubt what Cory Booker is doing there as not being self-promotional, because he does want to run for president. He is one of these 2028 hopefuls. Him and a few other people, even AOC is considering running for president as well. I think that if the people don't actually start to demand better, then they're going to continue to get slop. I mean, I say this often, you know, people get the government they deserve. And I don't like that, because I don't think anybody deserves what we're going through right now, where we're just completely hostile, and where we're overrun by a hostile force that has captured our entire government. But that is just the reality of what is going on right now. So I think, frankly, Kamala Harris, thankfully she lost, but I'm not happy that Trump won. I just think that, you know, Dems and Republicans are about to commit a mistake where an actual third party independent hopeful, like my friend Diane Sayre, will be able, if done right, to fill that void that many Americans want, which is somebody who's actually going to represent them and not be beholden to a foreign country. I think we're right on the precipice of that. And it's something that people have to decide they want to fight for, because my ultimate point is we can't just be spectators anymore on this and continue to clown it on how bad things are if we don't actually get involved and start organizing against it. If we don't, then, you know, we're just like the fools in all the Shakespeare tragedies that laugh at everything, but ultimately it still ends up being a tragedy.
All right. Well, Jose Vega, votevega.nyc is the website. Go and check out the campaign and sign up for his email list to stay involved. Thank you very much for coming on today, my friend, and we will definitely keep in touch as always.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you for having me on, Keaton. It was a pleasure joining both of you. Thanks for having me on here, and I appreciate it a whole lot. So yeah, and if people want to figure out how to get involved and keep our country, you know, existing, hopefully if we don't end up in a nuclear holocaust,
exactly.
Yeah, there
people
you go.
can join us, you know, join us in the Bronx, honestly. You know, people have given up on, like, there was a woman whose door we knocked on and to sign her independent ballot. And then she goes, "Who's this for?" Jose Vega. Who's he running against? Richie Torres. No. This is a Richie Torres building. And so I asked her, "Why do you support Torres?" She's like, "Because people like him and people are entitled to." I said, "Why?" "Well, because he fought with us. He was in the city council." I was like, "Right. But has he done anything when he's been a congressman?" "No." And then I said, "You know, he takes all this money from Israel." She says, "Of course I know he takes all this money from Israel. They all do. And that's why I'm not voting this year. And I've been voting since I was 18 years old, and I'm 68 years old now. And Richie Torres betrayed the fuck out of us. They all suck." And I was like, "Ma'am, so, you know,
so what do you,
why were you hostile to me?" You know, she's like, "Just give me that damn clipboard," and she signed it.
Tough business. Well, there you go. That's the merits of sticking with it, right? Never give up. Never give up. Always be closing.
There's an
Nocturnal Human wants you to run for president. I thought I should show you this. I know it's a thing for way later in the future, but I think Jose at some point should run for president. One thing at a time, but it won't hurt to get the idea out early to gain long-term momentum.
Look, man, I can barely get sleep at night right now. I'm not going to do this.
Yeah, exactly. He's too young. He's not even 35 yet. He's a kid. He's spring chicken, this guy.
27. So
you got 8 more years. 8 more years. If there still is a presidency in 8 more years, then we'll see.
Right. Listen, if you do run for president, you know what? I'm going to say it here. I will heroically end my podcast and go ahead and be like Dan Bongino for your administration.
He'll be your deputy FBI director.
Like, yeah, man. Nothing's here, folks.
Hey, the bar has been set pretty low. Like, you can drink all day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you can just get wasted all day. And there you go. Go run the FBI. All right, man. Thank you very much. Great to see you as always.
Take
all right.
care.
Take care of yourself. Bye-bye, Jose. Jose Vega, everybody. Round of applause in the chat. We got 1533 with us in the YouTube chat, 356 over on Rumble. We are up to 717 in the like column. That is good for one of these. There we go. Vienticus, everything's a scam, everything's a lie, everything's hypocrisy, and so you don't comply. Thank you, Vienticus. Appreciate that. Mr. Fancy Pants says, hell yeah, brother. Thanks, Mr. Fancy Pants. Vienticus says, good news. Maryland just banned dynamic or personalized pricing at stores. So now Walmart can't charge people differently based on arbitrary metrics. We'll see, though. Yeah, somebody tweeted at us, JetBlue got caught doing that by like manipulating prices based on like user algorithms. That was pretty crazy. Thank you for the super sticker, Race Car. Appreciate the $20. Super chats are super helpful. Thank you all very much for being here. Lee Hawthorne, thanks for the $10. As a polyamorous socialist, me and wifey number 1 are separating. Big shout out to wifey number 2 for the good work being pregnant. Thanks, Keaton and Russell et al. For all you guys do, dissidents one and all. Thank you, Lee Hawthorne. Congratulations on your situation. Thanks for the $6.99, Nora McLaughlin Doherty. Keaton, you are brilliant. Your impressions are hilarious. You and Kit killed it last week. Hi from Ottawa, Canada. Well, thank you. Thank you very much for the compliment. Appreciate that. Vienticus, will the shelves still wobble at your new place? I don't know. I haven't set them up at the new place yet. We will have to see. But it'll be essentially the same setup. Heavy Snack, I'm so confident in Trump's incompetency in investing $7,000 in oil futures on Wednesday before the ceasefire ends. I'm sure Barron and Don Jr. will be doing the same. Yep. Wouldn't surprise me at all. I just want Jose to debate that POS Zionist Torres. Yeah, it's not a surprise he turned down the debate invitation a couple weeks ago. Not a surprise at all. Vienticus says the only difference between a rich person and a poor person is that the rich person has more resources with which to inflict their stupidity onto others.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Exactly.
EO Shush says, I'm officially done with Israel. I told myself last month that if they murder 100,000 more people or bash in the head of a statue of Jesus, I'm out. Exactly. You see so many people up in arms over the statue, which, of course, I condemn bashing the statue. It's an obnoxious gesture. But you have all these people for whom a genocide didn't push them over the edge, who are now pushed over the edge. Pretty amazing. Vienticus Prime, smashing the Jesus statue is just another of Israel's brutal actions towards actual Jews. That's right. Cool Blue, Alyssa Slotkin and Haley Stevens were among the class of 2018 U.S. House winners. Slotkin won in 2024 U.S. Senate. Had she and Stevens switched election cycles, Slotkin would be in Stevens' position. Good point. Cool Blue. Good point. And that's the kind of insight we like to get from Cool Blue, the Steve Kornacki of the Do Dissidents podcast, our data man.
Beautiful. Thank you, Cool Blue.
And Stevens would be in the U.S. Senate. This is the seat of retiring Gary Peters. Michigan is my home state. Peters, that's the guy's name. Yeah, very strange choice to retire in a year where you really need a blue wave to get the Senate. You would think the incumbent would stay in and just like retire next year into his term and have the governor appoint somebody, right? Be doing. Everything's a scam. Everything's a lie. Everything's retarded, and we're all going to die. Thank you, Pete Wood. Vienticus endorses your message. There you go. You got the blessing from Vienticus Prime. Cool Blue, thanks for the $5. 2026 Michigan U.S. Senate Democratic nominee will be between El Sayed and Mallory McMorrow. His hands are more clean, and he may end up the nominee. Michigan, which voted Republican for Senate in '94, will stay Democrat. Okay, so Cool Blue thinks it's going to stay blue no matter what. There you go. I'm going with Cool Blue because Cool Blue calls these things right. Cool Blue comes prepared. He knows his shit. Eric Rousseau says Caitlin Johnston just dropped that Biden was planning to bomb Iran if reelected. Vote harder. Thank you for that. Nocturnal Human, the sociopaths in politics think being thoughtful means thinking of a way to truck people with gaslighting, manipulating political speech. They think everyone is stupid. Yes, indeed. EO Shush, thanks for the $2. Says, I like this McMorrow. She sounds like she wants to get tough on Israel. I could see her having the strength to send a strongly worded letter to Bibi. Yes, exactly.
Or use it at some emojis. Be like, sad face.
Right. Exactly. Yes. Send some emojis. Matt from Wisconsin, I like this. Kit, you ever take a drive north to visit the lake? Ha!
He's
talking about, because you're a South Sider. That's a lake. That's a Chicago joke right there.
Hey, and listen. First of all, that's violence, and second of all, I think you broke some community guidelines.
Yeah,
I don't like that. That was mean.
Yeah, you ever go to the Gold Coast? You ever vacation up at the Gold Coast, the Mag Mile?
I remember when my grandpa drove past the Gold Coast. He says, this is a bunch of arrogant assholes.
True Southsider for life. True Southsider for life. A vacation up at the lake.
Southside thriller, Northside killer. There you go.
And that's right. All right, let's move right on along here. Hey, folks. So the World Cup is happening this summer, June into July. Yeah, and it's interesting.
That's still going down. Wow. Okay.
Still going down.
About that.
Yeah, we'll see how this works because obviously there's a lot of concerns on the part of our government about foreigners coming into the United States between ICE at the airports and the chaos around transportation and just the immigration enforcement in general. FIFA sources say Infantino will ask Trump to pause ICE raids during World Cup. FIFA officials are reportedly considering asking President Trump for a temporary halt to ICE raids during the World Cup to address concerns over fan safety and alleged human rights issues. Yeah, just in, LA stadium workers are threatening to strike ahead of the World Cup if demands are not met. ICE not be at LA World Cup events. Temporary suspension on short-term rentals in LA. Airbnb is a FIFA sponsor. Protection against AI tools that could replace union jobs. Very, very tense time to be hosting the World Cup. Trump chill hits World Cup demand as panicked hotels slash rates. Yeah, how are you going to get people from all around the world here when you got ICE shaking everybody down at the airports and in the streets, and you have people coming from other countries? Not exactly a desirable place to come and enjoy a sporting event. Well,
and then, of course, you got World War III too around the horizon too, which is just as fantastic.
And exactly. And there's World War III. You don't know if you're going to be able to make it home. Are oil prices going to go through the roof? Are you going to be able to afford a ticket? All kinds of question marks surrounding the World Cup about global instability, travel prices, immigration enforcement, the workers threatening to go on strike. So you think the Trump administration would try to do something to sort of like put people's minds at ease, make it a little easier to come and enjoy the World Cup. Well, no. In addition to all of this, there's one more thing you have to worry about now if you're going to come and watch a soccer game at the World Cup. U.S. to bar World Cup attendees tied to anti-Semitism abroad.
Wow.
So on top of all that, now you got to worry about passing an anti-Semite screening at the airport when you come in to the World Cup. On top of everything else. Yeah, it's a real article, folks. This is in Haaretz, an Israeli paper of record. You got to read this to believe it. Rabbi Yehuda Kaplan, the U.S. Special Envoy for Monitoring and Combating Anti-Semitism, said this week that the United States will bar individuals from attending the World Cup who are accused of fostering anti-Semitism in their home countries. The president and the Secretary of State have made it perfectly clear that people who want to sow discord in this country are not welcome here, Kaplan told the Jewish Telegraphic Agency on Friday. People who want to bring their brand of hate to the United States with anti-Semitism are not welcome. Coming to this country is a privilege. It's not a right. I wonder if the white South African soccer team is playing in the World Cup this year. I bet they'll let them in.
You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of a political police, Commissar Hans and Deputy Fritz. We are here to see if you're an anti-Semite. Please look in the eye machine.
Yeah, right, exactly. Exactly. So here's an example. So you got the Paris Saint-Germain football team. They're from France, and I'm sure some of their fans want to come and root their team on in the World Cup. They're going to be in competition. But here they are waving their free Palestine flag at an event. Are these fans going to be allowed in? It's a good question. I don't know. Are they going to pass the anti-Semitism screening test when they get here?
I think it's a F- at best.
Yeah. The FIFA World Cup, which will be hosted in cities across the United States, Mexico, and Canada from June 11th to July 19th, will be the organization's largest event to date, featuring 48 national teams. The countries that qualified include several that have battled openly and in some cases literally with Israel, such as Iran. So the Iranian team is coming, Turkey, and South Africa. Now, look at this in parentheses. This is sad. So, folks, I don't mean to ruin your day. I don't mean to be the bearer of bad news, but Israel, which has faced widespread calls to be banned from the Union of European Football Associations, will not participate, having lost in qualifying competition last year. The Israeli team did not qualify. The Israeli team will not be competing here, which is kind of a shame. And it's kind of ironic because it's such a waste. Like, we're screening out the anti-Semites to make things as comfortable as possible for the Israeli team to come and play. But unfortunately, they are, losers. They did not qualify. They're losers. Participating countries also include several where anti-Semitism is seen to be on the rise, or where U.S. officials have sparred with leaders over issues related to Jewish safety. For example, Belgium, where the U.S. ambassador recently challenged the health minister publicly over the arrest of Moyles who performed Jewish circumcisions. Kaplan's comments came as FIFA president Gianni Infantino confirmed at CNBC's Invest in America forum on Wednesday that Iran would participate in the World Cup despite its ongoing war and fragile ceasefire with the United States and Israel. The Iranian team is coming for sure, yes, Infantino said. We hope that by then, of course, the situation will be a peaceful situation. As I said, that would definitely help, but Iran has to come. Of course, they represent their people. They have qualified. The players want to play. Are the players going to pass the...
Wow.
Are the players going to be able to get to the game?
No.
It's fucking insane. On Thursday, Andrew Giuliani, the executive director of the White House FIFA World Cup Task Force, told Politico that the U.S. President Donald Trump's administration did expect Iran to be in attendance. Discussing who could be affected by potential bans, Kaplan pointed to those involved in the October decision by England's Aston Villa Football Club to prohibit Maccabi Tel Aviv supporters from attending a match, as well as individuals tied to the violence in Amsterdam that left several Maccabi Tel Aviv fans injured in 2024. So I guess the fans of the Tel Aviv team were banned by England after the events in Amsterdam, because I remember the events in Amsterdam. We're going to show it to you in a minute. I'm assuming in response to that, England didn't want their fans there because, media bias aside, it was clearly the Maccabi Tel Aviv fans who were instigating trouble in Amsterdam, as I'll show you in a moment. Those people who are responsible for what occurred in Amsterdam at the soccer matches, or that are responsible for the lies that ended up resulting in tourists, people not being allowed to come to a soccer match, those people who do those things will be held accountable and aren't welcome to come to the United States of America, Kaplan said. Now, just to give you a refresher on what that incident was in Amsterdam, here's Ro Khanna saying, I'm deeply disturbed by the attacks on Israeli civilians in Amsterdam who were simply watching a soccer game. This ugly anti-Semitism must be condemned, and the Dutch must hold those who committed these crimes accountable. Okay, well, here are the Tel Aviv fans. Max Blumenthal responds, simply watching a soccer game. You've proven to be such a tool. Do you have anything to say about the violence and fascist incitement of the Israeli hooligans who ripped down Palestinian flags on private property across Amsterdam and chanted, let the IDF win to fuck the Arabs? So these are the hooligans fans. The Maccabi fans. Part of a larger song mentioning there are no schools in Gaza because there are no children left. So you have these yahoos chanting genocidal incitement around town, causing all kinds of trouble. Not just that, but there they are, ripping down Palestinian flags off of private properties. Maccabi Tel Aviv hooligans assault taxi driver in Amsterdam. So the Israeli fans were the ones causing the problem in Amsterdam. And now the people who responded to that are what? Not going to pass the anti-Semitism screening to attend the World Cup?
I
Middle East Observer. Go ahead.
I would gladly fail the test because, I mean, if that's the case, I mean, yeah, I'm pretty much condemning their actions. And, you know, the very fact that they're upset, like, oh, there's going to be people doing mean things because what? It's going to happen here in the USA and they don't want to see it here. They don't want to see it here because of the money being spent on. Well, you know, too bad. It's called freedom of speech if it still exists. If it still exists.
I'm sure there were skirmishes. I'm sure there were fights that broke out. Some may have been instigated by people attacking the Maccabee fans. But look at what the Maccabee fans are running around doing. It's not like the blame was all on one side there, not by any stretch. But of course, they would not bar the Maccabee fans from entry into the United States. They'll let them in. I'm sure they'll let them in. Oh, wait, they're not going to be here because Israel didn't qualify because they're losers. Sorry, I forgot about that. Israel, they're losers, so they're not going to play anyway. So the Israeli fans are not going to have to come here. But yeah, here's the Amsterdam timeline from Middle East Observer. Israelis attack personal property. Israelis attack taxi drivers. Israelis chant, let the IDF win to fuck the Arabs. Israelis get beat up. Israelis start to market the story under the title Savage Islamic Migrants Attack Peaceful Jews. Israelis call it a pogrom against Jews. And then the Israeli government and social media accounts exploit the event to the maximum to market or justify their genocidal war on Gaza and rally Europeans around their cause. Yes, indeed. Not only that, the ones in the stadium, here are the Israeli fans in the stadium. During tonight's match between Ajax and Maccabi at Tel Aviv, the Israeli supporters refused to hold a minute of silence for Valencia flood victims. They even started illegal fireworks. This comes after Spain canceled an arms deal with an Israeli company worth billions. So Spain has been one of the few European countries that has really opposed Israel in a meaningful way since the beginning of their genocide. And because Spain has opposed Israel, the Israeli fans made a scene during the moment of silence for Spanish flood victims. This is supposed to be a moment of silence. There they are under the screen. Chanting and screaming.
Respectful.
Yeah.
But yet if it shoots any other foot, and we're talking about October 7th, if anybody did that, they're a bad person.
Right. If anybody disrupted a moment of silence for the hostages or whatever, or if you ask yourself, is the shoe on the other foot? Well, the shoe is on the other foot because apparently everyone who had a problem with these Maccabee fans is going to have a tough time passing the anti-Semitism test to be allowed to come to the World Cup. It's just amazing. It's just amazing the level of spin on this. And that's just one example. But you look at how upside down things are and just how insane this government is to just make it as difficult as possible for people to come here. How do they expect this country to function? We already know tourism is down. Yeah. Tourism is down across the board, irrespective of these major events. These World Cup events, these are massive economic boons to the cities that host them. I mean, when New York hosted the Super Bowl, I mean, hotels were through the roof. Like these cities are counting on a big business boost, which they can really use. They can really use a big business boost because tourism has been in the shitter since Trump took office for a second time because people are afraid to come here from overseas. Now you're going to take this situation. You've already made it as difficult as possible. Now, on top of this, you're going to add an anti-Semitism test. It is really unbelievable.
I'm going to say this with the idea, obviously knowing that these words will not hear the millions of FIFA fans out there, but to the millions upon millions of FIFA fans, should the internet algorithm gods let you see this. I understand that sport means a lot to you, and maybe it goes back for generations, but maybe this might be the one time with the love of the sport and love of the game. Don't show up. Don't show up because you're being forced by another government to restrict your speech or opinions or cheers. You're being forced by a government, actually technically two governments really, on how to present yourselves and what you need to be afraid of saying or doing or wearing or even where you're going to walk at. So don't show up. Don't watch. Maybe make this be the FIFA in which you boycott. And I understand that many people just say to me, well, F off. I love the game. But if you love the game, are you prepared for the cost of being called anti-Semitic? Are you being prepared for the cost of maybe being pulled over by ICE? Look, the U.S. has a bad rep. And if you get injured here in the U.S., there's many foreigners who will tell the story of our horrific healthcare system or either that of our legal system. Heaven forbid you get arrested, because you just don't know with this administration. And it's very clear that there are some very frightening times ahead of us. Plus, you have World War III on the horizon. So this is the big challenge to the millions upon millions of fans of FIFA. Maybe this is the one where you just turn off the TV Maybe this is the one where you just rewind and watch some classic games with friends and family at a barbecue or whatever kind of cookout. Maybe this is the one where you just sit it out and it's okay.
Yeah, man. I mean, it is extraordinary. Just the insanity with which the country is being managed right now. Like, you tank tourism and then you tank it on top of that by making the World Cup as difficult as possible to come to. Like, it's just wild stuff, really wild stuff. Yeah. Master Yoda, if supporting genocide in Palestine wasn't the top priority for Democrats in 2024, they'd have compromised on this issue to win votes for the other things they say they now would have treated as more important. Good observation, good call, Master Yoda. Master Yoda said, why should the U.S. fund everyone else's wars while American families suffer? Join the ACP at acp.us /join, because the future belongs to the working class. Thank you, Master Yoda. Cool Blue says, Keaton, we are in a 2026 electoral environment which D's will likely flip U.S. House and U.S. Senate. No Democrat-held Senate seat will flip R. Michigan will be D +5 or more. El Sayed would win. AIPAC opposes him. All right, man. If you say so, you are now my guy. You're my guy now. I don't doubt you, Cool Blue.
You are number one guy to go check.
That's what you say, then I'm going with Cool. I'm riding with Cool Blue. So there you go. You have convinced me. Keaton, I disagree that Kamala would have been better. Neither Trump nor Kamala are making the decision. She would have been the same puppet. Nothing would be different. Well, as I said, I don't think she would have been convinced to go to war with Iran. You got Kiriakou, who said Israel asks every president. Trump was the first and only to say yes, because I think he's uniquely compromised. I also don't think you'd have ICE agents shooting people in the snow. Like, I think it's just reasonable and obvious to assume that certain things would be better. Once again, that's not to be confused with me regretting not voting for her, because you know what? The lives of the kids in Gaza are just as important as the lives of our kids here and my kids here, right? Nobody's lives are more important than anybody else. And so if you support a genocide, if you support a Holocaust, I'm not voting for you, period. That doesn't mean I can't say. I mean, in a way, I think it strengthens our argument as a left that has become post-duopoly. I think it strengthens our argument to say, yeah, you know what? Kamala would have been a better president. That's why it's a real shame she supported a genocide, because if she didn't, maybe we would have voted for her. If Kamala said, you know what, I'm imposing a ceasefire on day one, and if Israel breaks it, we're cutting them off entirely, not a cent more of aid, then I think there would have been a meaningful difference, assuming she was telling the truth. Of course, she could have just been lying. But again, we're just playing hypotheticals here. Like, if there were a meaningful difference between them, then I think a vote for her would have been justified. But if both candidates support a Holocaust, then there is no morally meaningful difference. So that's the way I see it.
I'm just glad that, you know, when Cory Booker said, "Oh, well, you're that person who," when we had Jose on, like, you know, yeah, I was like, yeah, that's me. You're describing me, Cory Booker, and I'm glad I didn't support Hillary. I'm glad I didn't support Kamala, and I'll do it again. Thank you for convincing me that I was in the right, buddy. Woo! Thank you, Cory.
Exactly. Okay. Cool Blue. Jose Vega, I hope you win. Thomas Massey, he needs to be renominated and reelected. What do you think of that race, Cool Blue? I'll pass on the word to Jose. What do you think of that race? That is a little closer, but it looks like Massey's got that one. I'd love to get your prediction on that.
You know, I think pretty much Massey has it in the bag. I mean, I don't want to be too overconfident here, but I mean, pretty much he has revealed himself as more of a obstructionist and somebody who will just break with this party, unlike AOC or any of the progressive Democrats that we had hope on. So, you know, hey, I'm impressed. There's a million things we disagree on, but at least he's fighting against the leadership, unlike certain Democrats.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Captain Spacehawk says you both have beautiful hair. Inclusive. Well, there you go.
That's the best comment ever. Like, that is by far the greatest, the awesomest comment ever. That's a winning comment. That's how you win, by winning.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Vianticus, what do you call a cow that's lost its privilege to fly? Ground beef. Ha. Bump. How come nobody ever gets all up in arms over the Venus de Milo statue? I thumb my nose at them. Thank you, Phyllis.
Whoop-dee-doo.
Appreciate that. Oops. What do we got here? The sink falling through the floor was too much, huh? I mean, it was more that we had already decided to move. I think the fact that we're moving, though, explains why the complex still has not replaced our dishwasher, which is the reason I was washing the dishes in the sink to begin with. I think they figure they're moving anyway, so fuck them. We'll just wait. Can we just agree a 2-person popularity contest to see who controls the empire is a stupid idea? Yeah, we can certainly agree on that. Thank you very much. Speaking of missing anatomy, what do you call someone who is just a nose without a body? Nobody knows. Good one. Okay, Vienticus. You know what I saw in that FIFA picture? 2 regards, 1 cup. Thank you for that. 2 regards, 1 World Cup. Good one, Vienticus. Vienticus bringing the jokes today. R. Monroe. Oops, sorry, what did I do there? There it is. I hope I'm not the only one who joins in with the hello dissidents, welcome one and all. That's move on right on along. Throws me off when you change up. Thank you, R. Monroe. Appreciate that. All right, let's move right on along, shall we? See what I did there? See what I did there? A lot of Israel stories today. We would have a hard time passing the anti-Semitism screening for the World Cup. Good thing I'm more of a baseball fan.
There
right?
You go. Yeah, batters up.
Batters up. That's right. So remember a couple days back when this photo.
Oh,
I was gonna say. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
right?
literally. Jesus
right?
Christ. What's going on here?
I mean, Jesus Christ. What's up with this? In Lebanon, an Israeli soldier smashing the head of a Jesus Christ statue during operations in southern Lebanon.
Okay,
wow.
Well, it's Jew on Jew violence, I guess. I mean, oh my goodness, what could happen?
That's right. That's right. Jew on Jew crime. It's an example of Jew on Jew crime. So Lizzie, you know, the ex people, they always ask Grok, tell me it's not. Say it ain't so, Grok. Say, Grok, tell me you still love me, Grok.
Grok.
Grok, eat my pussy, Grok. Grok.
Grok, I'm not crazy, am I, Grok? Grok, file my taxes for me, please.
Grok, it's not too dry down there, is it, Grok? Grok, is this a real photo? So Grok says no. Grok denies it's real. No, this doesn't appear to be a real photo of the claimed event. Modern AI images can look indistinguishable from authentic ones, but searches across news outlets and reports show no credible verification of an Israeli soldier hammer smashing a Jesus Christ statue head in southern Lebanon recently. The image is only circulating today on social media. A separate 2025 incident involved an IDF bulldozer toppling a St. George statue in Yaroun, reported by Lebanese NNA and Andulu, but it doesn't match the photo or description. Oh, we're going to take a look at that one too. So Grok doing some Hosbur there, saying no, this is AI. This is AI.
So the AI got it wrong. Wow.
Yeah. Well, look. Those posts have since been deleted. I found this thanks to the Wayback Machine. This was actually archived because I guess it went viral enough to be archived. But yeah, Lizzie deleted that question. And of course, the Grok reply is now deleted because, spoiler alert, folks, it's real. It was a real photo. Spoiler alert. So here's one of the IDF spokespeople here, Nadav Shoshani. The IDF is currently examining the reliability of the photograph. If this is indeed a real recent picture, these actions do not align with the IDF's values. No, we smash the heads of real people.
Yeah.
Statues.
Children too. Doesn't matter who.
Yeah. We impale children's heads, not statues' heads. This does not allow with the IDF's values and behavior expected of IDF soldiers. The incident will be investigated thoroughly and in depth, and if necessary, steps will be taken in accordance with the findings. Hadi replies, do not align with the IDF's values. Laugh emoji, laugh emoji, laugh emoji, laugh emoji. Here is that incident. The destruction of St. George statue by Israeli forces sparks outcry over treatment of Christian heritage. This is the one that Grok referenced in their initial reply that got deleted. Notice the point of view of that. The point of view of that shot is from the tank itself, which means the IDF soldier was very proud of the fact that he was desecrating
and filming it and
statue.
posting on social media. And that's the statue of St. George who slayed the dragon. And of course, hey, I mean, what else can be the big takeaway than looking at this absolute disgusting behavior of destroying culture and significant marks and buildings of religion of different people's faiths? And this is supposed to be our great ally, a great ally? No, these are the actions of what? Maybe an enemy at this point.
Yeah,
that pretends to be your friend.
It's monstrous. I mean, it's satanic. It's demonic. This is why Christians are freaked out. I mean, I say that as a figure of speech, since as a secular person, I don't really believe in that stuff. But like a guy like Tucker, he thinks he was actually mauled by a demon in his sleep, so he takes this stuff very seriously, and that's what this
mauled
is.
By a demon? Are you sure? What did he pay for?
Are you sure it wasn't Alex Jones? Are you sure he wasn't in the area that day, Tucker? Are you sure? Yeah, 1 year ago, Israeli soldier records himself demolishing the statue of St. George. That's what we just saw. More Christian heritage sites ruined. So, upon investigation, the IDF has said following the completion of an initial examination regarding a photograph published earlier today of an IDF soldier harming a Christian symbol, it was determined that the photograph depicts an IDF soldier operating in southern Lebanon. The IDF views the incident with great severity and emphasizes that the soldier's conduct is wholly inconsistent with the values expected of its troops. The incident is being investigated by the Northern Command and is currently being addressed through the chain of command. Appropriate measures will be taken against those involved in accordance with the findings. Appropriate measures, remember that. Furthermore, the IDF is working to assist the community in restoring the statue to its place. You know what? I have a feeling the community is going to be like, thanks, but no thanks. Why don't you guys just get the fuck out of here and we'll handle it. I don't think they really want your help with anything more. I think you've been enough of a help to the community. That's just my guess. The IDF is operating to dismantle the terrorist infrastructure established by Hezbollah in southern Lebanon. And thought Hezbollah was hiding inside the Jesus thing there? And has no intention of harming civilian infrastructure. Oh, really? No intention? That looked pretty intentional. That didn't look like an accident to me.
It looked on purpose. And look, if we just go ahead and leave Gaza for a moment and fly on over to Iran, wasn't a Jewish synagogue blown up by American Israeli bombs? I mean, it's like everybody's on the hit list. Not just Muslims, but it seems to be Christians and Jews too. Everyone seems to be an enemy to Israel. And here's Bibi. Habibi, where's BB?
And if you look at southern Lebanon now, a lot of it looks very much like Gaza. I mean, they've really committed genocidal war crimes there as well. Benjamin Netanyahu then posts, as the Jewish state, Israel cherishes and upholds the Jewish values of tolerance and mutual respect between Jews and worshipers of all faiths. All religions flourish in our land, and we view members of all faiths as equals in building our society and region. That is literally, according to the letter of the law in Israel, not true. It is a Jewish state with special privileges for Jewish people. That is by design. That's just a ludicrous statement. Obviously goes without saying. Yesterday, like the overwhelming majority of Israelis, I was stunned and saddened to learn that an IDF soldier damaged a Catholic religious icon in southern Lebanon. I condemn the act in the strongest terms. Military authorities are conducting a criminal probe of the matter and will take appropriately harsh disciplinary action against the offender. While Christians are being slaughtered in Syria and Lebanon by Muslims, the Christian population in Israel thrives, unlike elsewhere in the Middle East. Israel is the only country. All right, blah, blah, blah. We've heard all this before. We're going to show you some evidence to the contrary. This guy comes out and is like, hey, it's true. The IDF isn't perfect, but what's the big deal? So here's Rabbi Shmuley on the incident.
Jew who loves Jesus, just not the divine Jesus. I love Jesus, who is my Jewish brother who never knew what Christianity was.
I like Jesus the baker. I like the baker. I like Jesus's bagel shop. That's what I like.
Pharisee, and he kept the Shabbat, etc., etc.
Yeah.
So the fact that one errant IDF soldier destroys a statue means the following: that not every IDF soldier is perfect.
Oh, you don't say.
And he's going to be punished. And the Israeli military announced that instantly. Now compare that to what people like Tucker Carlson trying to get you to believe. Tucker's now saying that Islam reveres Jesus as a prophet,
Carlson.
and Tucker is trying to now Islamify Jesus, who was a Jew.
See, this is why they have such a hard on for not just Tucker, but Candace, like the whole sort of conservative Christians who are opposing Israel, because the Zionists have been playing this game for as long as Zionism has existed, which is they have manipulated Christians and Muslims into hating each other. So when a Jewish guy desecrates a Christian icon, what does he do? He says, yeah, no, the IDF, nobody's perfect, but hey, isn't Tucker Carlson doing a horrible thing by letting the Muslims off the hook for something that in this instance they obviously did not do?
I would also add on here and say, if this was, let's say, ISIS or an Iranian soldier or somebody, not Jewish or Christian, you better believe Fox News would have been playing this on repeat over and over and over and over and over.
Oh, forget. Oh, of course. No question about it.
Really? Then why is Christianity prohibited in nearly every Muslim neighbor of Israel? Why are IDF soldiers protecting every church at the risk of their own lives? 170 IDF soldiers died over the past.
What? Why are you gaslighting us right now? Because the internet shows me something different.
Yeah.
Last year, you know what it's like for people like me and my wife Debbie to sit and have to shake when our kids are in Lebanon fighting these Islamist terrorists, not Muslims. Muslims are my brothers, just like Christians are, but Islamists.
Oh, sure,
murderers.
yeah.
So let's go through the facts. A, an IDF soldier destroyed a statue of Jesus. B, that IDF soldier acted in complete violation, not just of Jewish values, but IDF's regulations. Number 3, that soldier is going to be severely punished and probably in prison. Number 4, Israel loves our Christian brothers and sisters. Number 5, the IDF risks his life to protect Christians all the time. Number 6, here's 6, okay? Tucker Carlson is now trying to Islamify Jesus, who was a Jew.
Oh, boy.
My Christian brothers and sisters, this message is for you. We could not show more love and appreciation to all of our Christian brothers, especially the evangelicals who stand with us.
Yeah, you should put that image on a greeting card. That should be on a postcard. You can go to Jerusalem, you get a postcard of that, send it to your Christian family back home. Yeah,
and
very
also,
respectful.
Hey, my daughter's selling sex toys, so be sure to subscribe to that too and make a purchase.
That's right. Well, here's Israeli television thinks this is a big problem for them. Israeli TV laments viral photo of IDF soldier smashing Jesus statue as a PR disaster. This does not look good at all for the Israelis. No, it does not.
Good
really?
For the Israelis, and it's going to be circulating online in the U.S. as well. We know who will take advantage of this. IRGC accounts already talk about this, posted everywhere. Definitely Hezbollah-affiliated accounts. And this is, again, another incident that is going to make a lot of bad portraying of the IDF, especially in terms of when it comes to the Christians that Israel wants to be, beside them after all.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate that the most moral army in the world keeps being embarrassed by these rogue actors committing, acts of barbaric thuggery. It's really unfortunate because obviously that doesn't represent the core values of the IDF. Obviously, these are all just bad apples. What he's kind of getting at there. But hey, Israeli soldier filmed smashing a statue of Jesus in southern Lebanon has been identified. All right, so what are the consequences? The Israeli army will not pursue a criminal investigation. It will not be referred to military police. Instead, the soldier will be reprimanded. Don't slap on the wrist. I'll read the translation here. Film smashing a statue of Jesus in the Christian village of Debel in southern Lebanon. According to details we have received, the soldier is a regular combat soldier and was identified in part based on information provided by his unit mates. The soldier has been summoned for questioning, with the commander of the 162nd Division, a brigadier general, personally handling this incident. The IDF understands that this is such a serious incident that it must be addressed with severe measures, including significant punishment, since the actions cause very serious reputational and public relations damage to the state of Israel. And as mentioned, we are talking about disciplinary action. Sorry, sped up there. Talking about disciplinary action. No military police investigation has been opened here. Last night, shortly after that photo of the soldier smashing the head off the statue of Jesus, IDF forces were dispatched specifically to that Lebanese village, the village of Debel. They located the statue, then determined almost immediately that this was a genuine incident. So he's going to get a talking to. He's going to get a talking to. Okay. And hey, here is what is this? CBN. This is whose thing is this? What is this? Pat Robertson. This is like a Christian station. Is it Christian Broadcasting Network? Is that what it stands for?
I think it could be. It's one of those.
Yeah, one of these Christian Zionist channels. Talk about a cuck. Talk about humiliating yourself. Yeah. CBN News runs cover for IDF smashing statue of Jesus with a sledgehammer. Suggests it's an instance of cancel culture.
Oh, fuck off to the highest order.
Cancel culture, says the Christian TV.
And this is not a good look, let's start there. I mean, it's disturbing, and it feeds into narratives that people have been creating around Israel that may not be accurate, right? And that's the problem. You have people saying things about Israel and the way that Israelis and you know the government is allegedly treating Christians and other religious groups, and then you see an image like that, and it's very easy to assume, oh, look, all of those people who are spewing conspiracy theories or other ideas, they may be telling the truth. But what we have to be careful of, and I think we've seen this a lot in American culture, in cancel culture, we've seen it in countless examples of assuming. Particularly, actually, when you look at police officers in this country, right, that one act is somehow emblematic of how every police officer acts. It's the same thing here. One act that one soldier does is somehow emblematic in people's minds of what every IDF soldier is doing. Well, there's no evidence that that is the case, right? So we have to be really careful as Christians.
There's tons of evidence that this is the case, not just in terms of like where the IDF goes on rampages, but in terms of how Christians are treated inside Israel, which I'm going to show you next. Like, how little self-respect do you have to have?
He has none.
He has yourself out on TV like this. On a Christian station, you go out and be like, yeah, let's not get carried away here. Let's not engage in cancel culture.
No, I think pretty much the destruction of St. George statue, destruction of Christian churches, destruction of Jewish synagogues, the destruction of mosques should enrage everyone across the political spectrum of all faiths, because it's very clear to me, in my humble opinion, breaking it down basically for everyone to understand, right now the actions of the IDF, they're the actions of that guy in the bar that everyone wants a curb stomp out and back. That's the action, because they're basically crapping in everybody's backyard and saying, hey, we're going to do this to you. Hey, we want to do this to you. Hey, there's nothing you're going to do to stop us from doing this to you. And that guy's going to tell his audience, oh, it's okay if they destroy the statue.
Yeah, let's not cancel
God. Oh, it's perfectly fine. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Let's not get all woke about this now, right? So, yeah, here's a little excerpt from a little short documentary that Middle East Eye did. It's on their YouTube channel. You can go check it out. But as Peter O'Born points out, the smashed statue of Christ crucified is just the tip of an iceberg of Israeli anti-Christian bigotry. Here's my report from Occupied East Jerusalem 2 weeks ago. So this is just a sneak peek of a longer piece.
Film about oppression of Christians.
Yeah, spitting on.
It's difficult now being a Christian in Jerusalem.
Yeah, it is. It's very difficult. I feel like I have to hide who I am in order to maintain my safety.
It's very frightening, some of the things that this report is saying, that harassment and violence against Christians continue in a climate which is intolerant of diversity.
Come and visit us, see how we really live, if we really need to be annihilated.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so the full video is on YouTube. I mean, we could do a whole segment. We have done segments on how Christians are treated in Israel, as well as, of course, the occupied territories. I mean, it's all one occupied territory. but yeah, I mean, even inside Israel proper, so to speak, Christians report having all kinds of tough times. So, you know, the idea that Israel is so respectful of everybody's faiths is just absolute nonsense. That goes for not only IDF conduct in these conquests, these imperial conquests of Greater Israel, but just in terms of like day-to-day management of their own society. So it's just laughable to say that, yeah, no, these are just isolated incidents. They don't reflect the core values of the IDF or Israeli society more broadly. Of course they do. It's obvious to everybody they do. Like, you're not going to be able to bullshit people forever. You know, Israel's used to being able to bullshit people in whatever way they want, as egregiously as they want. That's why they don't really put much effort into making good propaganda, because the media generally does the heavy lifting for them. But all of that is falling apart right now. You cannot insist that people disbelieve their lying eyes. It is just not sustainable. And it is, I will say, you know, we've made this point. I think one of the super chatters made this point. It is crazy and reflective of warped priorities that to a lot of people, outrage over a desecrated statue dwarfs their outrage over an actual genocide. But I guess you take whatever you can get at this point to expose the lawlessness and thuggery and just amorality of this project. So we'll take it.
I would also add on here as well. I mean, you know, these are the actions of the soldiers where he's going to get a reprimand. I mean, think about how many of these other soldiers are committing these same crimes, you know, to institutions of religion of different people's faith. I mean, look, Lebanon, heads up. Do you not see the big tombstone of Gaza? Because that's what Gaza is now. It's a big tombstone. It's a massive graveyard. That's going to be you. And it's very clear that Israel is running its operations in another country, by the way, a sovereign, independent country. And the whole world is sitting on its hands. For those of you who are very serious about your Christian beliefs, the statue of Jesus Christ, the statue of St. George, churches are being blown up, run down, burnt down. This is okay, because I know if some radical leftist Yahoo or Antifa or Iranian soldier did this, you'd be screaming bloody murder. But like when an abusive spouse is being slapped around, you know, she doesn't say anything, right? Or he doesn't say anything, because hey, abuse happens on both sides, right? You're not saying anything. Like, this is fine. You're okay with being spit on, cheated on, robbed. You're okay with it. You're okay with this. I'm impressed with the silence. I'm impressed with the actions of okay. And your people on your podcast are saying, no, we shouldn't blow this out of proportion. No, ignore all the images and footages and videos. Ignore the firsthand testimonies. Ignore it. It's fine. It's fine. It's just they're just in one of their moods right now. Right.
Yeah. Yep. Indeed. All right, we're gonna move right on along here. Quick timeout here. Okay. I want to give you guys a little inside scoop that many of us creators are talking about behind the scenes. It's actually one of the main reasons why we use the Rumble platform as much as we do and have made a home here. They made a special way to super chat creators so that we get paid immediately and without any fees. So while YouTube and Twitch can take up to 50% fees when you tip creators, this method, of course, takes zero. That's right. The platform takes zero fees, which means we keep nearly 100% of what you send us. But you could super chat with Bitcoin, Tether USD, or even Tether Gold stable coins through the Rumble wallet. And the tip will show up directly on the Rumble chat, just like a regular Rumble rant, which, of course, we read throughout the live stream. All you need to do is download the Rumble wallet on the App Store and send the tips to your favorite creators, i.e. us. You can go to wallet.rumble.com, or you can download the app directly from the App Store. You can also scan the QR code to get started and set up. It's super quick. It's super easy. There's no added steps. It's just like sending a regular Rumble rant. You just choose your currency before you hit send. It's an amazing way to get rid of the middleman and help support the free speech creator economy here on Rumble. So a shout out to them, of course, for making this disruptive technology and coming up with innovative ways to support free speech on the internet. That's wallet.rumble.com. You can scan the QR code or download the Rumble wallet from the App Store. Okay.
Yep. Or free speech. There you go.
And that's right. Very important. Very, very important, especially nowadays. French Laundry, here's a little guap for your moving day. Thank you, French Laundry. Appreciate that very much. 6-pack for me. In America, anti-Semitism is a thought crime, which means that really is anti-Semitic, Semitic, FML. Thank you, 6-pack. They're having a FIFA conference in Canada, and a Canadian government banned the Palestine Football Association, even though Palestine Football Association is a member of FIFA. Is that right? Wow.
Yeah.
That's
well,
crazy.
actually, I did a segment.
I mean, they're a scumbag organization. I always knew that about them, but I don't know the particulars like that.
I did a segment earlier this year about how FIFA and the Trump's Board of World Peace is going to be building FIFA stadiums.
That's right.
FIFA camps for the kids to play. What kids? What
Right.
kids are left in Gaza at this point?
Yeah.
I think playing football is the furthest thing from their mind. I mean, yes, they want to play, but I think, I don't know, maybe trying to live a better life if they got their families left, make sure their families are okay. But okay, they have a FIFA camp. There you go.
It's just an unconscionable organization. Interrobang says, please have Iranian journalist Nima Tavali Ruzdari on to talk about World Cup. He's been on lots of shows and he's a big DD fan. Oh, okay, cool. I'll look him up. Yeah, definitely. We'll definitely want to have some guests on during the World Cup to talk about that. So that's awesome. Thank you for that. Goo, thanks for the $1. Goo 81. I don't think this World Cup will do well. FIFA are pricing tickets at $3,000 each.
Don't show up, FIFA. Come on, people.
Even hotels are not filling up for the World Cup. Many YouTube videos discussing it. Yeah, well, I know the numbers are that. We talked about that in the segment, but $3,000 a ticket. Holy shit.
Nah, man, ain't worth it. Because then you get arrested by ICE. And hey, I went to America and all I got was like 10 years behind bars for being anti-Semitic. What'd you say? Free Palestine.
And if you take a piss at the wrong moment, you miss the only goal of the game. You get to watch 0-0 score. All that to see. How was the game? Good. It's 1-0. Satanica, love from Bahrain. Keaton, have a safe and easy move. Some of my most stressful moments are move related. Courage. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. It's always exhausting. This is going to be a very exhausting week. But I'll be back Sunday with Jimmy Dore as a co-host. Sunday night. Mark it down. Also, hi, Kit. There you go.
Why, hello to you, too.
Kuznetsky Bassane says Chris Hedges, the Democratic Party is a corpse. Yep. Not only is BB running our foreign policy, he is running our domestic policy, and the World Cup is another example. Thank you, Epstein. That's right. Vientikis, it wouldn't surprise me to find out that Trump and Kamala have the same exact IQ. Just saying.
Zero.
Yeah? Could be. Yep. Me shoot Skeet, thanks for the super sticker. Appreciate that. Kuznetsky Bassane, Keaton, you're so right about Kamala, and she should have resigned as VP because of the Gaza genocide. Yep, 100%. Eric Rousseau, happy birthday, Dwayne Vogel. Rest in power, dude. Oh, this would have been his birthday?
Oh,
wow.
rest your soul, brother. Dwayne, we love you. We miss you. Shields in the chat because his last YouTube emoji profile was Captain America.
The Captain America shield. Yeah, that's right.
Shields in the chat. Come on, shields in the chat for our boy Dwayne. Dwayne, we love you, man. We miss you.
We love you. Absolutely. Thank you for letting us know that today would have been his birthday. Kuznetsky Bassane, thanks for the $1.99. Kid on DD rocks. There you go.
Thank you.
Man,
You
there.
rock too.
Here's $10 to pick up the guitar. What do you mean here's $10? You give me $1. You give me $1.99, but I'll do it anyway. So here's the guitar.
There you go. There we go.
How's that sound? There you go. I should do a busking session on the shuffle. Should I start doing little concerts on the shuffle live stream?
Why, dude?
I'll take requests for super chats.
Do it, man. Do it.
Yeah. that might be a fun thing to do.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, maybe I'll start doing that. I'll start doing virtual busking sessions like it's COVID again. I'll start playing online concerts. Play concerts over Zoom.
Oh, dude, I'll be a hype man with my.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
there you go, man. It'll be great.
YouTube.com/ShufflePod. Go subscribe to my music channel. I will have more stuff uploaded. I just reviewed the Flea album, the jazz album by the Red Hot Chili Peppers bass player. It was excellent, really, really good. And then got some other stuff that I'm going to review. Like I said, because of the move and everything these past couple weeks, it has been brutal to do anything outside my job. But I will get back to uploading stuff there more regularly once this move is behind me. So yes, please do head on over and subscribe. Oops. There you go. There's the $9.99. See, I gave it to you anyway. Well,
now they gave you more money, so you maybe should play a whole jam session now.
Yeah, maybe now I could do some more. Keaton, you could do a shuffle pod on the album The 13th Step by A Perfect Circle. I think Maynard James Keenan is the best lyricist ever. I like Tool a good deal, and I do love that Perfect Circle album, actually. I think that's really, really good.
Wait,
my
hold
uncle
on.
loves that album.
Somebody in the chat's telling you, hey, be careful you do it on the YouTube stream, so you might want to do it either on Rumble.
Yeah, well, they'll copyright you if you do it on YouTube. Yeah, exactly. Because even if you play a cover song, they copyright you. So I might have to create a Shuffle Rumble channel and do it there. Good call. But yeah, no, I do like the 13th Step quite a bit. That's a great one. So yes, I probably will do something on that at some point. Thank you for that. Oh, George. Hey, all, with the parents up north, we will catch him post. Keep up the great work. All right, you stay safe out there, George. Please do stay safe. It wasn't you that did that to the Jesus statue, is it, George? Just kidding, George. I'm kidding. You're not that far north. Nocturnal Human, you're from Iowa, right? We have a Jose here. His name is Dave Bushaw, running independent in Iowa's 2nd District for Hinson seat. All right, Nocturnal Human, get in touch. Stray Cat in the Streets. The IDF beating the Jesus statue. I told you last week that Jesus owes the Jews 3 shekels. Why doesn't he just pay him back? Why doesn't he just pay them back those 20 shekels? Good one.
You'll pay me what you owe me.
That's right. Captain Space Hawk. I feel like Shmuley's beard could be neater. Yeah, I'm sure that's common feedback that he gets for sure. Goo81 says, you can ask my parents, a Christian Orthodox and Catholic Palestinian parents, and no, Israel does not treat them any better, actually. They're the most targeted during the Nakba. I believe it. Horrible. Kuznetsky Basane, Catholic Church in Gaza bombed, Christians in Israel spat upon as policy. Yep. Indeed. And of course, yes, Goo says, don't forget they're stealing Palestinian Christian lands in Bethlehem. Hit Bethlehem on Christmas. Don't forget what happened to my dad's hometown, Taba, on the only remaining Christian too. Okay, ran out of characters, but I'll try and find the rest of that. Between segments here. CBN always have ran cover for Israel since it started, even before the genocide. Yeah, they're a Christian Zionist channel. They're whack jobs. They're whack jobs like that. But yeah,
cucks is a more apropos word.
Yes, the Cuck Broadcasting Network. It's 2026. You can finance a burrito on a food delivery app and get lectured on morality by a rubber dong salesman. Back to the Future 2 was way off.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where's my hover bike? Where's my hoverboard? Where are my hover cars? Where are they? Oh, Elon would say, oh, people crash. Well, screw you too, Elon. Dumbass.
Yep. Shai Guevara, thanks for the €5, was a guest of Palestinian Christian family in occupied Palestine. Israel, quote unquote, was woken up at dawn by the call to prayer from the mosque right next door. Yep. Jolly Man Big Boy, thank you for that. IDF regrets damage to concrete, not flesh and blood. Yep. Well said, my friend. Appreciate that. All right, folks, we got 1852 in here. We're up over 1,000 in the like column. Thank you very much for that. Let's smash that like button. Got a couple more things to cover here today before we close the lights on this stream. So, a lot of MAGA is coming apart at the seams now. A lot of their biggest stars are on the outs with the administration, but we haven't gotten all that many apologies from people. We haven't gotten all that many people saying, hey, you know what? I was wrong to be a part of this. So I guess Tucker Carlson took that step. So here he is with, I guess, his brother, Buckley Carlson, who is quite the character. Yeah, we're going to get into a little bit of this beyond this clip.
Learning some new lore.
Apparently, Tucker's brother was a speechwriter for Donald Trump, and one of Trump's first big supporters in the 2016 campaign. And now, of course, Buckley, just like Tucker, has turned on Trump. And so here is Tucker saying, I'll be tormented for a long time by the fact that I played a role in getting him elected.
Everyone else who supported him, you wrote speeches for you and I and everyone else who supported him. You wrote speeches for him. I campaigned for him. I mean, we're implicated in this for sure.
Yes.
It's not enough to say, well, I changed my mind, or like, oh, this is bad, I'm out. It's like in very small ways, but in real ways, you and me and millions of people like us are the reason this is happening right now.
Yes.
So
okay,
I do think it's like a moment to wrestle with our own consciences.
So implicit in this is that had the election gone the other way, this wouldn't be happening right now. And I think that's absolutely true. And, not to repeat myself on the stream, but because we're clipping it separately, that's not to be confused with regretting my lack of support for Kamala Harris. She was a genocidal war criminal who promised to continue the Holocaust of our time, which means you cannot in good conscience rubber stamp that with a vote.
Yeah.
I won't say however, because it's just in addition, I think having the clarity to realize how uniquely fucked this is to have a president this uniquely compromised by Israel, that they would bring us to the brink of an apocalyptic war in Iran. I think if Tucker's capable of essentially realizing that, I think a lot of other people should be as well.
Yeah.
We'll be tormented.
Go ahead.
I also want to add on here too. Like, look, I think this is a big step, and I know there's a lot of people like, wow, you can never forgive them. You got to keep on pounding sand up their butt or whatever. I don't care. Like, look, I'd rather have this moment of clarity than just say, well, my bad. Like, no, I think this is perfectly acceptable in maybe this is me being too nice, but I'm okay with this apology. It's just like, again, if you vote Democrat or Republican, you got to break away from it. Then this has got to be this moment of clarity where you just don't go back to the Republican Party or Democrat Party and think like, oh, they'll change. Like, no, the full commitment is break away from the duopoly. That's what you got to do to show me I'm okay with this, but go a few more steps further and meet me at that point. Meet me at that point here.
We went live on this show 6:45 a.m. Eastern time, the morning Trump announced the bombing. And I did not support Donald Trump. We were extremely critical of Trump all throughout the campaign. We made it very, very clear there was no real hope to be found in the MAGA movement or in a second Trump term. But I said immediately, I apologize for taking MAGA's anti-war convictions too seriously for too long.
Mm-hmm.
I did not do. I mean, this guy, went on tour for Donald Trump during the fall of 2024. So he is actually making an actual mea culpa here.
We'll be tormented by it for a long time. I will be, and I want to say I'm sorry for misleading people. It was not intentional. That's all I'll say. But anyway, the question does present itself immediately. Like, what is this? Was this always the plan? You don't want to be a conspiracy nut, but clearly there were signs of low character. We knew that.
Yes.
Oh, you don't
but
say.
It didn't. There are tons of people of low character who outperform their character. It doesn't have to be
sort of the norm, actually, these days. I would say
I've outperformed my character a lot. I don't have especially high character, right? But you try your best. But
funny, his brother looks like.
But what was this? Was this always the plan?
He looks like a chain-smoking version of Tucker Carlson, this guy. And I say chain-smoking because I actually watched the first half of the interview, and they spend the first hour of this 2-hour interview talking about what drew them to Donald Trump in the first place. And we'll get into this a little bit because this guy is a fucking nut, this guy. And apparently this guy really took issue with John McCain's efforts against big tobacco because he loves smoking and he, considers tobacco to be an expression of freedom. That's why I mentioned the chain smoking. He looks like a guy who enjoys a nice pack or two a day.
You know, looking back after the last year and a half, it seems like it kind of was. And it's easy. Well, you could get really deep about it and say, what was Butler? Like, how was it that and Ryan Ruth, I mean, he was subject to 2 legitimate assassination attempts. Have we ever gotten to the bottom? I know you've talked a lot about this, but have we ever gotten to the bottom of that?
I haven't talked a lot about it. I don't know the answer, but I know that those investigations have been stymied. Fact.
Yeah, stymied from the very top, from people who actually would have the power to get to the bottom of it.
And the motive.
Yes,
yeah,
very much. So the enormous amount of money he got from Miriam Adelson now seems suspect to a lot of.
Now it seems suspect. Looking back on it, $200 million, that's a lot of money coming from someone who clearly acts as essentially a foreign agent.
People at the time, but you know, there's a lot of money in politics. To run for president requires an enormous. I mean, Cackling Camel Toe went through $2 billion in 4 months. So, sure, there's an argument to be made that you get money from those who will give it to you. It's just the nature of that game, but it's still reprehensible, and it's still a big question mark. Why would someone who has obvious and demonstrated allegiance to a foreign power give Donald Trump $250 million while he's running for president? I mean, how is that defensible? It's really not. If Russia had given a PAC for Trump, you know, if the mayor of Moscow had somehow, you know, assembled an enormous amount of money and put it in a 501c3 for Trump's benefit, would that have been acceptable? Of course it wouldn't have been. So what does someone, it's so basic, comes back to the money. Like, what did they get in return for that amount of investment? And it's clear.
I get it. No, I mean, of course, I agree with every word that you're saying. I just think, given his behavior and his demonstrated disloyalty and viciousness to previous supporters.
Yes.
Why wouldn't he display the same lack of loyalty to Miriam Adelson?
I don't know. Could it have something to do with the Epstein files, maybe?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And also, wasn't there also like a big incident where she was being interrogated and said, if this information gets out, I'm dead?
Or in jail or something like that. Yeah, that was in one of those documentaries. That was one of those documentaries. Yeah. So I think there's an added element of that. So he gives his mea culpa here, talks about we have to wrestle with our conscience, about how we got sucked into this. Well, here's how they got sucked into this. And this is where you look at guys like Tucker, who, you know, are very important in the context of this current moment. I don't take that away from them. But you see where they're coming from and how they just cannot help but indulge so much of this dark shit that clearly enticed them into MAGA to begin with. So here is Buckley Carlson talking about the falling out he had with John McCain and how he was swooped into MAGA.
Of John McCain, and then when he ran for president, got the nomination, he totally fumbled it. And it seemed like it was an absolute surrender to this unknown, but obviously Marxist-based, anti-American candidate.
Anti-white.
Anti-white, anti-American?
Anti-white. There it is. See, this is where this racial paranoia makes itself known. So he's talking about how he was attracted into the Trump movement, and they go on.
And that was not his to lose. That was ours to lose. And he did that on our behalf. And
do you think he threw the fight?
He refused to, I mean, on the heels of 9/11, he refused publicly and excoriated people for pointing out Barack Obama's real name, Barack Hussein Obama, or Barry Soetoro, or talking about his early years in Indonesia, talking about his church that he went to, in this anti-American, anti-white church, refusing to talk about any of his heritage.
He's talking about Reverend Wright. In other words, McCain really didn't run a racist enough campaign against Barack Obama. He had an obligation to call him Barack Hussein Obama as if he was a Muslim terrorist, and he had an obligation to shame him for his association with this black church. Again, this is just like chauvinistic, borderline, just racist garbage, and it gets even worse. It gets even worse.
I bet so. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Which was obviously fabricated, and and dishonest. It was the first time, I think, in American history that a presidential candidate was not only not vetted at all, but you were excluded from knowing anything about him of any relevance. And John McCain, who was the standard bearer of the Republican Party at the time, had an obligation actually to be the top watchdog about his opponent. That's your job. Your job is to fight a battle, and he refused to fight it. So I never forgive him for that.
Don't forget.
Such a smart point. I was too close to it even to get that. But so then we have 8 years of Obama, and it becomes pretty clear in the second term.
Pause it for a second. Look, maybe I'm thinking too much into this, but body language 101. When your arms are folded and crossed, it means you're uncomfortable or you're trying to protect yourself. That's I just notice the difference between the Tucker and his brother. It's kind of I don't know, something's not right. Tucker's brother's more leaned back, he's more leaned forward, kind of slouched. I mean,
he looks a little more guarded. You're right.
You're
right. But he does kind of rubber stamp what he says, and he goes even further here.
He hates the country he's leading.
Okay, so now after 8 years of Obama.
So then we have 8 years of Obama, and it becomes pretty clear in the second term that he hates the country he's leading. He really hates white people. Tons of whites voted for him. Tons of whites voted for him because he was saying we're going to get rid of race consciousness in this country and treat people as citizens and human beings, and we can move past the division of the disgusting civil rights movement thinking.
The disgusting civil rights movement thinking. See, that's just uncalled for. I'm sorry, that is just paranoid lunacy. First of all, the contention that Barack Obama hates white people is fucking absurd. It's laughable. That is paranoid idiocy. That is just race paranoia and lunacy. I have endless negative things to say about Barack Obama. And what made the Obama era kind of stifling politically and culturally is that Barack Obama used identity politics and used the legitimate issue of representation in order to mask the systemic and material inequalities that he refused to confront as president. So Obama used identity politics very cynically. He used it as a means to essentially mask the fact that he was more or less a Rockefeller Republican by his own admission. He went on TV and said, I would be considered a Rockefeller Republican back in the day. So he leaned into identity politics very cynically in order to manipulate people into thinking that he represented more of a change than he actually did. And what was politically and culturally very stifling about that is that, especially we experienced this in the 2016 campaign, when we mentioned the need to actually expand the program beyond just one of representation and one of redistribution, meaningful redistribution of wealth and power, we were called racially insensitive for doing that. And that was very cynical, but that was born of opportunism, and that was born of subservience to the status quo. That was not born of hatred of white people. To say he hates white people is, like I said, paranoid lunacy. And it was that paranoid lunacy that enticed a lot of people, apparently, into the MAGA movement. We don't know what the percentage was, but clearly that's how you guys were drawn in. Donald Trump really ran as a sort of Jesse Jackson for white people, right? Where white people felt put on edge by Obama for 8 years, and they ran into the arms of someone who seemed more comforting to them, who was going to tell them, no, actually, you need not hate yourself so much. Nobody was telling you to hate yourself. Nobody was telling you to hate yourself. It seems like you kind of took that upon yourself to interpret things that way. I thought the Obama years were extremely destructive, but not because he hates white people. That's absurd. That's absurd. And that's part of how you guys got hoodwinked and got sucked into this fraudulent MAGA movement. We'll keep going.
And just anti-white, zero sum. And that Grant Park speech was like, I didn't vote for him, obviously, but I was like, God, I hope this is true. It turned out to be the opposite of the truth. Yes. He just hated whites. And so by the time that ended in 2000, 16, like it was a different country.
I had never seen anybody I mean, it was a whole new time. My son was young. He was in a private school at the time that embraced all of those anti-white messages, separation. I mean, it was literally the new. They talked about Jim Crow while they're instituting Jim Crow in the educational world.
Jim Crow in the educational world. Jim Crow. It was Jim Crow in the educational world. They were lynching whites at the universities. Like, this is just, it's garbage. It's garbage. This is just slop. And I mean, as long as we're doing mea culpas, why don't you just, it's like, you can't admit that's how you were drawn into this, because that's what happened. I appreciate the mea culpa. I give Tucker a ton of credit. I wish other people would do the same thing so we could actually have maybe some kind of reconciliation and move forward. But this is just absolute nonsense. And as long as you're not getting this kind of racial paranoia out of your head, it is going to be difficult to reconcile things, broadly speaking.
Yeah, and not to mention, this kind of broadcast, is it really a smart idea? I mean, like, what are you really trying to say here? I mean, again, there's a billion things to be critical on Barack Obama about, like getting rid of habeas corpus, leading us from 2 wars to 7.
Of course.
Not holding anyone responsible for the economic collapse that ruined millions of Americans' lives, or is it at holding the Bush-Cheney / Epstein administration accountable for any of its crimes? But no, he hated white. His mama is white.
His mom was white and he never met his father. Right?
I mean, come on.
Yes. No, I mean, it's just, it's crazy. And, that just to me gets the whole critique of Obama completely wrong. Right? Obama acted as if representation was the end all be all. And look,
weaponized identity politics. I would say he weaponized the early stages of identity politics for it to lead to the cancel culture that we've dealt with for the last years.
Of course.
I mean, that's what Barack Obama helped usher in. But it's this whole idea of, he just said, a lot of his people in administration, his VP was white. Okay. His VP probably hated him more, probably disrespected him more. I mean, come on. Recently, Joe Biden went on a senile rant saying a black guy on the stage looked like Barack. And he said, doesn't this guy look like Barack? It's like, Biden.
He picked the most racist white vice president he could in order to appeal to white people, in order to win as much of the white vote as he possibly could. And, my father at the time, just to show how radicalized everyone's been by these past 10 years, my father actually was campaigning in Philadelphia for Obama on election night. I had to work at the bookstore that morning, so I couldn't go. But when he won, my mother, my father, and my brother were all there. And they were in the ghettos of South Philadelphia, just very, very poor area, obviously almost entirely black neighborhoods. And when Obama won, people flooded the streets and started chanting USA, USA, USA in pride, which these are people who have been fucked over by this system to the point where you can never imagine them chanting that. And so that was a victory. Like, I don't think representation means nothing. I think it means something. Obama and the Democratic Party insisted that it meant everything. And that was a lie they just couldn't sell, because they were unwilling to address the material elements of the issues that were causing such a severe wealth gap between rich and poor in this country. So the woke agenda, the emphasis on representation, the emphasis on identity politics was not motivated by hatred of whites. It was motivated by an unwillingness to confront capitalism, quite frankly. Mm-hmm. And that's a critique that you could do something with. This is just retrograde, paranoid bullshit. And it affected a lot of people. And I think they're kind of telling on themselves there, at least Buckley is, by explaining how that was such a motivating factor in bringing him into the Trump movement in the first place. But hey, I'm glad they made their way out, and I'm glad they said they're sorry. That's worth something, I guess.
Yeah, it's worth something. But then again, it just tells me right there that, okay, they're going to wait for the next proper Republican nominee to come along that will, defend their values. I mean, at this point, come on, they just laid all their cards on the table and gave the most piss poor criticism of Obama I've ever seen. And there's going to be people on the right, or people who are independent or right leaning, and think, oh, that's gospel, that's truth. No, there's a billion things to be critical on Barack Obama about. Anti-white is at the bottom of the list. Leading us further into the neoliberal nightmare. Yeah, that's the problem. Obama's administration and real legacy is Donald Trump. That's his legacy, because his administration was the knee-jerk response of Trump coming into existence. And then, of course, with Hillary and Biden, that's Obama's legacy too, right? Neoliberalism, neocorporatism, and not following through with the promise. Oh, and then Barack Obama say he was going to do something about Roe v. Wade, but then he said, oh, folks, it's not politically acceptable. It's
not our priority, whatever it was. Yeah, whatever the line was.
But, go on and vote. Obama out.
Yeah. Yeah, so look, I mean, as much as Tucker, is a very important voice right now, I said, I've been saying the past couple of years that the anti-Israel right is going to be more consequential in the short term than the anti-Israel left, because the right has power. So they are the ones able to drive that wedge through the ruling class at this time, since the right has the political power in this country now. And I appreciate that he has wielded that for good. And I appreciate that he came out and said he feels bad about misleading people. Tucker, though, reverts to that shit too much. He has a real tendency to just push those buttons way more than he should. And so that would be some constructive criticism right there.
There you go. Yeah.
All right. Let's move right on along. Goo81. Funny how Islamists did not destroy the Jesus statue. Israel goes in and destroys Christian monuments. The Islamist that is destroying Christianity is Israelis and DJT's head chopper in Syria. That's right. Cool Blue says, Kit, thanks for co-hosting today. I hope things are, given the recent obstacles, getting better for you and Daniel and the Hardlands Media. Appreciate your channel and program as well.
Well, it's been an uphill battle. One of the lawyers did withdraw from the copyright case, and we are trying our best to, Hardlands is doing the best it can. We're just grateful for our community and people supporting our Patreon and everything else. So look, no one wants to go through it, and maybe there's a miracle down the horizon, but without you guys, Hardlands would not exist, and I am eternally grateful for everyone. So good news, good things happen. And hey, I thought I'd just share with all of you, I landed a small role in a movie, so we'll see what happens with that. So see, good things do happen. Good things do happen here and there. So there you go.
Hollywood and Chicago.
Well, maybe.
Ink Politics. Bro, they attacked the synagogue in Iran, so they didn't even spare Jews. They're against humans. Religion is inconsequential. Thank you. For Zensaki, about last stream, MMT is not a neoliberal theory. Please stop mocking it. This whole central bank's bad thing is a psyop and a psyop to get people to accept cryptocurrencies. Thank you, my Zensaki. A Nocturnal Human, here's $100 to spit on me. Thank you. It was $1. Good try. Nice try. I'd
nice
you that
try.
cowbell for $100.
Nice try, Kitty. Try again.
Yeah. Maybe for $200, we'll spit at the screen. Sean Hurl, thanks for the super sticker. Appreciate that very much. Go Strick Lucard. American Christians don't care Gaza Christians, and because they are just pawns in the game of Death Cult Chicken they are playing with the Zionists. Thank you for that. Keaton, you should cover Shock Me Kiss, but in RFK's voice, and replace Shock with Felch. Felch may make me feel better. We will make it rain if you do. That's a good one. Good one. Good idea. I like it. Heavy Snack. Strange how Bibi is yet to return to the White House. His laundry must be piling up. That's right. That's right. Doesn't he do laundry?
Habibi, where's BB?
Did I miss the guitar? I might have a 420 hangover. Yeah, you missed the guitar. Play it one more time. Give you another couple of chords if you missed the guitar. Oops.
It's a jammy.
It's out of tune. Nocturnal Human. Someone in chat posted breaking news. 2 IDF soldiers got 30 days in jail for the statue. Don't know if you want to look that up and add that into the other segment. Maybe I'll put a note at the end of it. But I guess the Israeli media lied. Wow. Big surprise there, huh? Mr. Measy, Shmuley looks like my balls when I haven't trimmed them all year. Captain Caveman looking piece of garbage, this guy. Yeah, he really is. Glenn Fancher, hey, kid, it's lunchtime over by the Dur and buy Keaton an Italian beef with hot gardeniera.
Oh, no problem, man. We're on a lunch break, a lunch brunch break.
There you go. There you go. All right. We'll move right along. How are you on time, Kit? Are you good?
I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm
okay,
good.
cool.
I'm perfectly fine. However long the show needs to go,
All right.
I'm good for it, man.
Running a little, not too bad. We should be wrapped pretty much on time. So there you have that. In fact, while we are paused here, let me just tell you guys about our partners at Chapter, because millions of seniors are on the wrong Medicare plan and many of them don't know it. And here's how it happens. When you're trying to figure out Medicare, you call people who are actually brokers, which means that brokers get paid by insurance companies to sell you specific plans that you may or may not need. And their income depends on what you enroll in. That's not an advisor. That's a salesman with a conflict of interest. So you end up making a choice that is not born of your needs, but born of the incentives of who you are talking on the phone with. And this is how millions of people end up on the wrong Medicare plans. Chapter is the exception. They're the national advisor that compares every plan in the country, and they're the only one who does that. Their advisors are salary-based, so there are no hidden incentives to sell you a certain plan that you don't need. You let them know your doctors, you let them know your prescriptions, and they do the hard work of finding what fits. If you're already on the right plan, they will let you know that, and that'll be the end of the conversation. Either way, you'll get off the phone knowing you made the right call. No risk, no obligation. It's free. There's nothing to lose. A call with Chapter takes 20 minutes, and you get to speak to a person right away. So if you're turning 65 or you're already on Medicare, call Chapter at 404-706-0804. That's 404-706-0804. Okay, let's get to our next story over here. Let's play a game of who's that there fucking that wall? Who's that there fucking that wall? I gotta say who's that there. I gotta restart this.
Who's that Pokemon?
Yeah. That's for the live stream. I gotta restart this for the clip because I can't curse in the first 15 seconds. So let's play a game of who's that there kissing that wall. Who's kissing that wall? Well, it's Argentina's right-wing president Javier Milei getting emotional after kissing the Western Wall in Israel. That's right. He's actually kissing it. No metaphor or exaggeration there. Here he is. Oh. The hug. Oh. So emotional. Oh. Oh, I should have warned everybody. This is going to make you cry. Is there a dry eye in the house, folks, after seeing that?
Hold on. Wait. Hold on. This is my best Erica Kirk impression.
Yeah, right. She should go and kiss the wall. We'll see. Yeah. See how she comes away from the wall. But yeah, here's Netanyahu welcoming a great friend of the state of Israel, Javier Milei, in Jerusalem this week. Oh, hello, friend.
Javier. You know what that means? It means friend. Yeah, yes, a good friend. Yes. Yeah? Dear friend. And thank you for the kind words you said. And you shall hear what I have to say about you. First to my office. Another one? Another one. Yes.
Wow, what a loser. Holy cow.
Oh, yeah.
And actually, yeah. Good to see you. Really good.
Good to see you.
Warms my heart. Please, sit down, please.
This is like a little boy.
Hey, remember when all those red-pilled libertarians were so excited for this guy, thinking he was such a threat to the establishment? I gotta say, that is one big fat L the libertarians took on this guy.
Yeah, hey,
that is a huge L.
Did you see the recent video where there was a woman who, I think it was a college student, she voted for Javier, and now she's saying like, "Hey, I can't even afford an apartment anymore in this country."
Oh yeah, no, it's a nightmare. It's an absolute nightmare. So if you remember this was back a couple of weeks ago. We meant to cover this, but never got around to it. Argentina's planned Andania is no longer a theory. It's a filed government document. We covered this months ago when Patagonia was burning. Now the documents are in black and white. A leaked Argentine government file, MS-26, reveals a preventive plan to receive up to 300,000 Israeli refugees, exclusively Israeli citizens, zero provision for Iranian or other civilian war victims.
What?
Yeah. So they're going to start taking in Israeli refugees. That is the plan after these fires happened. Kind of a mysterious timeline. Is it not? So let's take a look at this video.
Se ha filtrado a la prensa el informe confidencial.
Confidential report has been leaked to the press, cataloged under file number MS-26. The document coordinates the preparation preventive plan to receive up to 300,000 Israeli refugees in Argentina. This preventive plan is a direct response to the war launched by the United States and Israel against the Islamic Republic of Iran, and the document reveals an alarming bias. The humanitarian operation and state logistics are designed solely and exclusively to receive up to 300,000 citizens of the state of Israel. And now, cut to just a couple weeks later, Milei and Netanyahu announced Tel Aviv, Buenos Aires flights, ink strategic Isaac Accords. Right. This reporting by Times of Israel. Argentinian President Javier Milei arrived in Israel on Sunday for his third trip in 2 years since his election to the position, announcing alongside Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu that direct flights would begin between the two countries by the end of the year, and that he would move the country's embassy to Jerusalem. During the meeting, Milei and Netanyahu also signed the Isaac Accords, a series of strategic deals on security and AI. The name of the accords is a reference to the Abraham Accords, signed in 2020, that normalized ties with several Arab countries and aims to promote ties with countries in the Western Hemisphere. The son of the Abraham Accords, if you will, the Isaac Accords. They were joined by Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar, Transportation Minister Miri Regev, Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich, and U.S. Ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee. In his remarks at the Isaac Accord signing ceremony at the Prime Minister's office, Netanyahu said that recent political changes in South America, likely referring to the election of right-wing Western-friendly governments, mark a return to the alliance of freedom. So here is Netanyahu gushing over Milei at the press events.
The things you believe, why be in politics? Boring. And also, it's not very pleasant. It requires moral fiber. And Javier Milei has enormous strength and enormous clarity, moral clarity. And I would say moral clarity is worthless without another human quality, which is courage. And President Milei has both in abundance. And he has shown that by standing up with Israel, standing up with the Jewish people, standing up against anti-Semitic vilifications, standing up in our hour of need, standing up when we fight the battle of civilization against barbarism.
The battle of civilization against barbarism, he said. Now, I'm not sure if this was during the same trip. I'm assuming it is because these clips have surfaced over the last day or so, but this is obviously at a different event. Milei defends genocide in Israel, saying we can't coexist with, certain cultures. There are certain things that are good, and there are things that are bad. I knew Mal. And there was no room for discussion. With certain cultures, we will be able to coexist. Because if we respect the right to life, we cannot coexist with those who want to kill us. Yeah. So there you have it. Go ahead.
First of all, it's very shocking that 300,000 Israelis just want to leave, the Holy Land, the land that was promised. I mean, why leave? And second, of all countries to go to, Argentina, wasn't that where the Third Reich guys flew off to? I mean, how ironic. You're going to the very same spot where the dudes who committed the Holocaust in WW2 decided to hide and lay down low. I'm pretty sure there's a professional comedian out there that can make a better, darker joke than I can, but it's like, Jesus Christ. I mean, there's a joke in there somewhere, but somebody, please explain this to me.
The Milei Initiative will bring together the descendants of Isaac and nations of the Judeo-Christian tradition in defense of freedom and democracy and in the fight against terrorism, anti-Semitism, and drug trafficking, according to a joint written statement released earlier in the day. Members of the accord will coordinate against, quote, Iran's attempts to expand its terrorist networks and operational presence across the Western Hemisphere, the statement read. The initiative also seeks to foster coordination and alignment in international forums and to promote a framework to expand cooperation in innovation, technology, trade, and economic openness. So Greater Israel goes global here. Israel is now a leading technological power, and Argentina has the human capital and regulatory freedom to become the world's next AI center. So you see, once again, red-pilled libertarians who thought this guy was such a maverick. Yeah, you have him deregulating the economic sector so that what? AI can run wild in Argentina. Milei said in his address in Spanish at the signing ceremony, according to Channel 12 News, we will develop joint models, train experts, and work together in international forums where the future of this technological revolution is determined. Milei called the launch of the Accords a historic moment for our nations. Milei and Netanyahu also announced direct flights would begin this year between the two countries. Milei said flights should begin in December. El Al chairman Amikan Ben-Zvi confirmed the plans. Flights would take around 16 hours from Tel Aviv to Buenos Aires and 15 hours to return. You have brought our people closer. Now we're bringing them even closer, Netanyahu said in remarks before the signing of the Isaac Accords. And presiding over the ceremonies, of course, is Christian Zionist fanatic Mike Huckabee, the U.S. ambassador to Israel. He has some glowing words for these two valiant world leaders.
It is a distinct honor to be able to stand here with two of President Trump's greatest friends. I don't know of any two world leaders on our planet that our president has more respect for and more personal relationship with than President Milei and Prime Minister Netanyahu.
The two most unhinged maniacs on earth are the two world leaders that Donald Trump has more respect for than anyone else. Wow. That is quite the character endorsement.
It's an honor to represent the President of the United States and to bring greetings from America to these two wonderful friends and allies. And we're in a world where we need all the friends and all the allies that we can possibly have.
Yeah, because Trump's saying the middle finger to all.
I'm grateful for the leadership that...
Right, because we're starting a lot of wars. That's why, even though we promised not to start any.
Both of these leaders have brought not only to bring back the values that are the underpinning of Western civilization and the Judeo-Christian foundation upon which our nations were built, but to stand with moral clarity in a way that most leaders are afraid to do. I stand here today with two world leaders who have the courage, the conviction, and the will.
Wow.
And it's an honor to be to be with both of you. I want to say I'd like to be the first person who buys a ticket on El Al to Buenos Aires. And
why is that? Let's see why.
My reason is quite simple. I want to go with a bunch of freezers and bring back some of that fantastic Argentina beef that is world now.
I thought our beef was beautiful.
There is none better.
You son of a...
Let's be honest. It would be worth a trip to Argentina to be able to make a nonstop flight.
What happened to our beef?
Well,
I thought our beef was beautiful.
Suitcases and freezers with beef from Argentina and bring it back. So, Mr. President, I hope to see you soon.
You son of a bitch. Nah, screw anything else. That's the story right there. Somebody from the Epstein administration, I mean Trump administration, saying someone else's beef is beautiful. That is a stab. That is a stab at all American cowboys, all beef ranchers right here. That's an insult. Our beef is beautiful because theirs is weak.
Not only is their beef weak, their beef is too expensive for their population to afford. What does it say about an economic system where your own population cannot afford to purchase the thing that you produce the most of? And if you don't believe me, this is Argentinian TV. From world-class beef capital to have you considered donkey meat? That's right. Here's a newscaster actually eating donkey meat and pretending to like it because their population can't afford beef.
Quieren que probemos. Es grande, el burro es grande, sí. El aroma ya me
Watch her pretend to like it. Watch her bite it.
Sí.
Oh,
Sí, bien, bueno. Es un buen trozo. Sí.
Oh, it's good.
La verdad que si me invitan a comer un asado y
Delicious,
me ponen
yeah.
esto,
But she's like struggling to get it off the fork. That's how tough it is. No,
Sí, bien, bueno. Es un buen trozo. Sí.
la verdad que si me invitan
Maybe Mike Huckabee wants to go and bring back some fine Argentinian donkey to eat.
So yeah, that's how you know we're heading to Soylent Green instead of donkey meat. Hey, a proud sponsor of both Hardlands Media and Dude This is Soylent Green, a product made of, by, and for people.
Yeah, that's right. That's good. Netanyahu called Milei a personal friend and a great economic leader and a great world leader, and noted that it was the first time a foreign leader had been granted to honor to light the torch at the annual State Independence Day ceremony on Tuesday evening. Milei also took part in a rehearsal for Tuesday night's Independence Day ceremony and joined in vigorously singing the Spanish song Libre on stage. It's never happened before, and it is right and just that it should happen now with Javier Milei. So it wouldn't be a Milei visit without a musical number. So here is the rehearsal for the Independence Day performance. What a fucking maniac.
What an idiot.
I'll tell you.
Wow. Don't cry for me, Argentina. I'm already dead.
The one silver lining of this time is I can't wait to see the biopic about this guy.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's going to be great.
They should have Joaquin Phoenix play this guy. Just have Joaquin Phoenix gain like 50 pounds. And
Yes.
I think he would be a good Javier Milei.
I want to be that person in the administration that he snaps him. He says, like, sir, people are going broke. I want to be yelled at. I want to have Joaquin Phoenix. I want to have Joaquin Phoenix yell in my face. That would be great. Be like, ah.
Yeah, exactly. So DD Geopolitics, they've been on this story more broadly. The Isaac Accords, a new front in Israel's global alignment strategy. A new initiative quietly launched this year deserves far more attention than it's getting. The Isaac Accords, a project designed to formalize a political, economic, and security bloc between Israel and Latin American states. Created through a new U.S.-based nonprofit, American Friends of Isaac Accords, and seeded with funds from the Genesis Prize Foundation, the initiative is directly tied to 2025 Genesis Prize laureate and current Argentinian president Javier Milei, whose administration has become one of Israel's strongest global allies. On its surface, the Isaac Accords are framed as a Latin American version of the Abraham Accords. Economic cooperation, cultural exchange, educational programs, and joint development. But the statements released alongside the initiative reveal the deeper intent. Danny Danon, UN ambassador, that's the Israeli UN ambassador, describes the accords as a way to counter regional hostility towards the Jewish state and pull undecided Latin American countries into Israel's orbit, i.e. Venezuela, possibly, right? The U.S. government's official statement goes even further, calling the accords a tool to strengthen U.S. allies, align the hemisphere against radical international organizations, expand security cooperation, and, of course, combat anti-Semitism. In other words, this is geopolitical bloc building, not just cultural exchange. AFOIA itself was founded in 2025 by the Genesis Prize Foundation, an institution financed and shaped by a group of Russian-Israeli billionaires and historically tied to both the Israeli government and diaspora political networks. Milei's $1 million Genesis Prize award serves as the seed funding for the entire project. Behind the philanthropy is a clear strategy to formalize an Israel-Latin American partnership at the diplomatic, economic, and security levels at a moment when the region is deeply divided on Gaza, U.S. power, and the direction of global politics. The initiative's objectives reflect this: strengthen Israel's position in the Organization of American States and UN through Latin American votes, expand bilateral security programs, counter extremism and anti-Semitism, quote unquote, draw Latin American democracies into a long-term U.S.-backed partnership with Israel. Malay's Argentina is already pushing a radical geopolitical realignment, including moving its embassy to Jerusalem, embracing U.S. and Israeli security frameworks, and positioning itself as a regional bridge for Israel's interests. So, this kind of answers the question, hey, why did Donald Trump bail out Argentina to the tune of $40 billion? What do Americans get out of it? Well, the question is not what Americans get out of it. It's, of course, what does Israel get out of it, silly? That's the question. Here's Trump in advance of Malay's election saying, hey, we could do some regime change in Argentina if the election doesn't go our way.
If you take a look at Argentina, if the president doesn't win, I know the person that he'd be running against, I believe, we probably have the person. A person is extremely far left and a philosophy that got Argentina into this problem in the first place. So we would not be generous with Argentina if that happened. If he loses, we are not going to be generous with Argentina.
So why was Donald Trump all in on Javier Milei? Is it because Javier Milei was this anti-establishment, radical warrior for the people and for freedom? No, it's because Javier Milei is expanding Greater Israel into the Western Hemisphere. You think Elon Musk was for Javier Milei because he's so pro-freedom? No, he's pro-freedom in the sense that he's going to deregulate tech and deregulate AI. These are both fields in which Elon Musk is obviously heavily invested in. So you see how nothing is as it seems. You see how if you were one of these red-pilled libertarians, you see how easily you got psyoped into thinking that this guy was somehow an anti-establishment renegade, when in reality he is the perfect stooge for not just the United States and Israel, but for the rules-based order, quote unquote, that we are desperately clinging to in resistance of a multipolar era. It's kind of amazing how people got hoodwinked by this obvious Javier Milei psyop from day one, and now this seems to be coming to fruition. It seems to be payday. Now the United States and the Israelis seem to be getting what they want out of this guy. Finally, they've sure made a big investment in him. That's for sure.
And a nice chunk of land for colonization. And also, how can you forget, to my fellow Argentinians, don't cry. It's not donkey meat you're eating. It's Soylent Green, which is so delicious.
Yeah, exactly.
Forget bugs. You can't afford to eat bugs. Have Soylent Green.
Yeah.
That'll be the testing ground. Soylent Green is good.
Yeah, Soylent Green is good. Yeah. Donkey on a stick, an Argentinian delicacy, courtesy of the IMF.
That's going to be too expensive to eat, too. Because a little known history fact, a long time ago, eating lobster and crabs in medieval era, Dark Ages, was considered poor people food.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you're poor, they'll take away donkey meat. You're like, hold on. You poors can't have this.
Yeah, exactly. All right, folks. While we take our super chats and rumble rants, I'm going to put our scroll up on the screen here. If you'd like to become a member and support the show, you get all kinds of perks for doing so, including Film Club, extra content, and call-in access to all of our Q&As, as well as ad-free replays of every live stream the day after it airs. So if you miss a show and you want to watch it back, just like you're watching it live without the ad interruptions, you get a full ad-free replay when you plunk down $5 a month to help support this project. And please do go subscribe to Hard Lens Media, of course, as well, and support our friend and resident co-host, Kit Cabello.
Mm-hmm.
Judy Denmark just checking in to say the kid has been brilliant. Keaton, love you as always.
Well, thank you, Judy. That is a beautiful... That made my day. That really did. Thank you.
Thank you, Judy. Nina Kant hated whites by letting all the white bankers not go to jail for the 2008 financial meltdown. Exactly. By the way, I completely blame Obama for everything that's happening right now. No, of course. I do too. So much of it is his fault and the liberal class's fault more broadly. But to say they hate whites is just insane. This is why Tucker terrifies lefties. There is a beast underneath. Yep. Can't disagree. Genuinely wasn't trying to fire shots at Kit. Every time I go to a lake in northern Wisconsin, I see cars with Illinois plates. Should have paid more to add context. Oh, okay. No,
it's okay.
We thought you were joking. I thought it was funny. I thought by the lake
fine.
you meant Lake Michigan, because Lake Michigan's on the north side of Chicago, and Kit is a staunch South Sider. So I thought that's a funny way to refer to, hey, you ever go up north and see the lake?
There are some beaches on the south side too, you know, just here and there. But like, you know, it's all good. Listen. It takes a lot to get me upset. Okay, you know, listen. You got to really work hard to get me angry at you. Okay,
that's right. That's right. What do we got over here? We got Dimitri Mugianis. Man, how I wish Obama was actually a gay Muslim communist solitary from Harlem. Exactly. Nina Kant. Like I said, if Tucker was a problem, they would have killed him a while back. But you see how he's talking. I guess he's always talked like that, though. EO Shush, I want to apologize for my outburst earlier. I was acting a little emotional, a little woke. Israel is our greatest ally among us, hasn't bashed in the head of a Jesus while committing a genocide. Thank you, EO Shush. Skyman says, as someone who's half black, racial fear is a modern Republican value. The Southern strategy has infected the minds of people like Tucker to such a deep level that they've internalized it as reality. Do not trust them. Thank you for that, Skyman. Appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, it surfaces a lot. Like, he'll just throw in random references to the Civil War. Like, he tends to, like, not be able to resist to pepper that shit in. Something tells me glory hole stalls are cleaner than that wall. Thank you, Nina. Skyman, their entire sense of reality is I'm not oppressing someone, therefore I must be the one being oppressed. That's an interesting insight. Tucker and those like him are politically useful idiots and should be treated as such. That is an interesting insight, Skyman. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. Stoop sign. With the Abraham and Isaac Accords, little does Malay know that the Saudis have been commanded by Israel to kill Argentina.
Don't cry.
EO Shush. Possible plan is to destroy the Iranian civilization when Iran responds by setting the Middle East on fire, making it uninhabitable. Jewish refugees go to Argentina while they rebuild Greater Israel. Yeah, no, it's definitely a place to go to escape war and the consequences of war, I think.
How ironic that's the same place where the Third Reich guys from Germania flew to. It's just there's a joke in there. I just don't know how to articulate it, man.
You got to come up with it and say it on your show one of these days, you know. Skyman, the stakes are too high and those who lead us to this moment are too irrational. The left must actually engage effective, workable solutions and not the I change your mind, feel good bullshit. I agree. But I think there has to be some reconciliation there, some acknowledgement that, hey, this was all a lie. Where do we go from here? But thank you for that. Ravid Laz, other guest co-hosts, ideas. Pasta, Kurt, Nick, Dimitri Lascaris, Sabby, Katie, Brianna, Aaron Mate, Max, Latham Maroof, Kevork Almasian, Glenn, and Norm. Thank you for those. All great. The ones that I know of. There are a couple names I never heard of there, but the ones I've heard of there, I like a lot. Yuckaby should be expelled to his homeland.
After his treasonous remark about Argentina's
about beef?
Yeah.
About their weak beef?
Yeah.
About their weak beef. I told you your beef was ugly. Hey. Donkey meat. Argentina's ass is beautiful. Thank you. Good one. Nocturnal Human. Malay should obviously be played by Jack Black. Oh, yeah, that would be good, too. Jack Black that's a good idea. Depends on the tone of the film. Truth Seeker, thanks for the $5. The trouble was that they didn't grape the Jesus statue. Then the Knesset would say it was their right to do so. Thank you, Truth Seeker. Nong, nong, nong. I see Javier Malay, and I think nobody told me Mike Myers made a vampire movie. Good one. EO Shush, the James Bamford article about Mossad and Bibi interfering in the 2016 election for Trump. He also discussed Israel interfering in South American elections, including Argentina. Yeah, we covered that. I don't remember that element of that article, but we did cover it. All right, I got a couple more super chats while I'm loading them in. We're going to leave you folks today with a moment of Zen. This was pretty fucking funny. This was pretty funny. I'll say that for the YouTube clip. This is a very Kafka-esque conversation, as Trita Parsi observes, in Germany, where you're not allowed to say from the river to the sea. So here's a cop warning this woman against saying it. And she asked, what if I say from the river to the beach? How's that? Can I say from the river to something else? And he's like, don't push it, ma'am.
Why? say the river sentence, please?
I didn't say it. I just say from the river, but not from the river, please.
You said that 2 times. Please stop it. Otherwise, we have to arrest you again.
Okay.
I don't want to stop it.
So what shall I say?
What should I say?
Not
that sentence.
Not this sentence.
Don't say it.
Don't say it.
It's forbidden. The sentence is forbidden. Don't say it.
I don't want that.
Yeah, I don't want to do it, but it's forbidden in Germany, and I have to arrest you.
It's good trolling there in Germany. Your moment of zen. The Buddhist nudist Tucker helped manufacture consent for a war that killed 1 million people, but he said he's sorry, so he should be the next PSYOP. I mean, president. Kosher Brits and Bites. I just got blocked by Benny Johnson's wife on X. Unlike him, I'm living in her head. Oh my god. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Dude.
That is funny. Unlike him, I'm living in her head rent free. Good joke.
Ashley St. Clair's been dropping the tea on all of this. I'm watching it, eating the popcorn. It's hilarious seeing the right influencer culture fight. It's now I know how they felt when they saw that when it was happening with the left. So it's like, hey, this is
exactly.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Well, that is our show. We want to thank you very much for being here. Kit, thanks as always. We'll see you in 2 weeks, my friend. I know you're off next week. We'll see you back here in a couple of weeks. So thanks very much, of course, for being here. Thanks to everybody for being here. I will be off on Thursday, of course. We'll have plenty of clips dropping between now and Sunday when I'll be back at 7 p.m. Eastern with guest host Jimmy Dore. That's going to be a lot of fun, so make sure you're here for that. Smash that like button on the way out, please. Smash that follow button on the way out on Rumble and the subscribe button over on YouTube. And thanks, everybody, very, very much for being here today. Thanks to the mods for keeping the peace in the chat. Thank you to our guest, Jose Vega, for joining in the first hour of the show. Until we see you all again, once again, no show Thursday. No show Thursday. We'll see you all on Sunday. May you all enjoy/survive the week. And we'll see you at the end of it on Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern. Until then, thanks, everybody, for spending the morning and waking up early with us today. Be safe and be well. Courage. Bing.
Please clap.